Oh, sorry, folks. Runny nose. There we go. Here I am, the Go Live Granny, going live here on Sunday, the 19th of January, 2025. Now, the other day I did a live stream saying, oh, it's January, and I went 2024. Totally got it wrong. It's not 2024, it's 2025. So let's make sure I get it right tonight. So I am, as you can see, back home. I'm home for a little while and then I'll be off again. Hello, Richard. Nice to see you coming in on YouTube. There we go. So it is the 19th, Sunday, the 19th of January, 2025. Let's make sure I get the year right this time. And then lots to talk about. I've had major shenanigans today. I've been traveling. It's also my daddy's heavenly birthday, so I'll be talking about my daddy and all sorts of wonderful things and having a wonderful chat with lots of you lovely people. So sorry I was a bit late. I thought I was all ready, went to go live, and then the little stand that I put my phone in was downstairs, so I had to get on my stair lift and go down. Hello, Tracy. Oh, Tracy's saying she thinks I said it today on the train as well, 2024. It's not 2024, it's 2025. I really must get this right, Tracy. But you know, it's the old brain cells. Sorry, folks. So what's everybody been up to? Good to see Bertie in tribute to your dad in Pride of Place. Yes, absolutely. So we've got Bertie there. And if I move out of the way, whoops, you might see another Bertie there. Oh, you can't see him very well, can you? Wait a minute. Let me bring the other Bertie down. He's got squished in the background. I don't know. Whoa, I've got stuck in my chair. I've got things on the floor. Hang on a minute. Let's see if I can get Bertie. Whoops, come here, Bertie. Oh dear. We have the other Bertie as well. In tribute to my dad. I should have put him on, maybe if I put him there. Oh, let's see. There, can you see him now? He's a bit squished in. There we go. I think you can see him now. Look, he is a bit squished up, but you know, I haven't had a lot of time to do anything. I only came home today. I've been away for ages and ages. I keep popping home and then popping away again because I'm been supporting family members on the mainland, and I'm going back again. I'm home till Wednesday, then I'm off again. So Tracy's saying she's been round helping her friend sort out her mum's place as she's gone into a care home as she has dementia. So you've been packing boxes and sorting out all the furniture. Sounds like you're a very good friend there, Tracy. I know you are a very good friend, but it sounds like you've been doing more good friend stuff for someone else. That's good. Right, let me just wrap myself up in my scarf. I'm not really cold. My flat, I'm very lucky because one of my neighbours has my key, and I message her when I'm coming home and I say, can you put the heating on in the morning, so by the time I get home it's warm. I mean, it is warm, but it's a very cold night, so I don't want to get cold. So I'm wrapping up in my beautiful scarf that Jane made me. And I think it looks nice and bright on the live stream as well. Shame they don't do rail miles anymore. Absolutely, I'd have so many. But, Richard, I have got a refund coming again today because I had so many shenanigans today. And the shenanigans started the other day. I'm just going to have a swig of my coffee. Friend's been travelling next stages of his tour. Excellent. So... I've popped home to get bits and pieces, to do a few bits here, to take a few bits back, to bring some of the Christmas stuff back and take other stuff away. And there's my beautiful Heather coming in from the States. There we go. Nice to see you. Lots of you coming in here. You might notice I've got a thing on my my wrist is being a bit weak at the moment, and so my daughter found this thing for me to strengthen my wrist a bit. New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, Thailand, India. Your friend is doing lots of travelling. Well, I'm doing lots of travelling, but I'm only going from Wiltshire, trying to get to the Isle of Wight, and then back to Wiltshire. So I will tell you about the struggles, but first of all, must mention happy birthday to my daddy. There's my daddy, and it would have been his 104th birthday today. I'm sure he's having a party, and I thought, oh, so this reminds me of my dad, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But if he's having a party, we need much more of a party hat, don't we? There we go. But it's lovely to be home again. Yeah, it is lovely to be home, Tracy. I don't mind. I love being home. I love being away supporting my family. In fact, one of my granddaughters said to my daughter today, "Where's Granny going?" Because I'm now part of the furniture over there. But it's fun. It's fun. We love it. But I just, as I say, needed to come home, do a few bits, sort out a few things, to bring some things back, take some things with me. And, that's how it is. Hello, Tina. Tina coming in on Tina Furnival coming in on Facebook. I am fine, thank you. Even though I've had shenanigans galore today. And if anybody's in and could tag any of our lovely people, especially the Facebook taggers, could some of you tag, maybe somebody could tag Season. You are now to have minus 25 wind chills here for the next 3 days. That sounds cold. Well, as I say, my neighbour put my heating on, so it's quite warm in my flat. It was lovely to come in to a warm flat. I think it's lovely. Pole striped like an enchanted. Sorry, Richard. I'm not quite understanding what that meant. Sorry, if you could explain that a little bit. An enchanted Instagram. Okay, it's going to be very cold indeed. They've actually forecast. I saw on Facebook that there was a forecast for very cold in the UK on Saturday. Now I am travelling back to Wiltshire on Wednesday, and then I'm on my shenanigans on Friday again. Well, I say shenanigans, they might not be. They might not be. It might be fine. Whoops, I've got some glitter hanging down here. And hopefully I will travel and get to where I'm going to on Friday night okay, as long as the blast doesn't come in so much snow that I get snowed in like I once did years ago. Those of you who've been watching me for a long time will know that around the pandemic time, I went to my son's and his lovely family, and I went for 5 days. The snow came, so we didn't go back the day my son was going to drive me home, and I said, it's no point in traveling while there's snow on the ground. It's silly. We don't have to go today. So we didn't go the day it snowed. And when we waited for the snow to come, then Boris Johnson locked us down for the pandemic. And so instead of being at my son's for 5 days, many of you already know, I was there for 3 months. And I was there without wool. I had to send out for wool supplies and get another stash. But that was fine because Helen at Isle of Wool, she trumped up and she sent me parcels of wool. So it was not to be, not to be sniffed at. Richard's saying snow most of the UK Friday and Saturday. Oh, is it saying Friday now? If it's Friday, there will be shenanigans of me even getting there, but hopefully it's not. So I've had shenanigans with the travel. I've had shenanigans with tickets. It's been a nightmare. Thank you, Tracy. That's wonderful. She's tagging lots of the people coming, that come in regularly. Debs, can you tag Deb Stevens if you can? That would be wonderful as well. I haven't seen Steve come in the house yet. Steve, who's on YouTube, Steve the window cleaner. And I didn't see Steve the travel assist guy at Portsmouth and Southsea today, but I did meet Stephanie, who knew Steve and who knew Mark, the guy with the big hair who put me in the taxi the other day. Tracy's, I think, tagged Richard. She didn't. All right. Richard was the first one in the house tonight. tracks journeys, oops, and uploads photos. Then you can make up travel book like an illustrated journal for small children. Oh, that's interesting. I'll have to have a look. Richard saying, Steve, the window cleaner. That's right. Susan's in now saying, thank you, Tracy, for tagging her. Your friend who's travelling is also a Steve, says Richard. So, as you know, most of you viewing know. Hi, Susan. Most of you know. I've been on my I've been on my travels to family in Wiltshire. I decided that although I'm going to other family members next weekend, I said to my daughter, oh, it'd be nice. I do need to pop home sometime. And she said, well, why don't you go, like today? Go back on Wednesday. So that's what I'm doing. And so we wanted to, oh, that's right. So the other day she helped me book the ticket because I want to get to the east, more to the east of England on Friday. But I didn't want to go through London, and I will be in Wiltshire. And of course, the natural thing would be go across to London and then up. I don't know if this is reversing it for you, but my way of looking at the map, I would go from Wiltshire across to the east, and it would naturally direct me into London and out. And I thought that was going to be okay, but no, it's not, because I would go into, would I go into Euston and out of Paddington? No, I would go into Paddington and out of King's Cross. Well, that's okay, but to get from Paddington to King's Cross, I would have to go on the underground. And me and Navy Nora and escalators and shenanigans do not mix. It is not a good idea for me even to contemplate going on the underground anymore. So Rich is saying, don't forget your haggis. Where's my haggis? Oh, it's Burns night next weekend. Right, okay. Oh, Burns night, that's why I need my haggis. Okay, I got it. I have got a haggis because Ailey sent me a haggis that's like a money box. So I have got a haggis in the other room. I'll get it out, but I don't know. It's quite heavy, so I don't really think I want to travel with it next weekend. I'll take a picture of it and then I can put the picture up. Maybe if I remember. Somebody might have to remind me before I go on my... Oh, you have to remind me before Wednesday because it's here at my house and I'm leaving again on Wednesday to go again. I'll be gone. Back or forward. I don't know sometimes whether I'm coming or going, which way I'm going. So first of all, before I book this weekend, before I book today's travel, let's go back with the Fez because that reminds me of my dad. And we'll talk about my dad shortly, but let's make the Fez part of the story. Wiltshire, Kent. I don't know, Richard, about... It wasn't giving me a Kent option. Hello, Sam. Nice to see you coming in on Facebook. So before I decided I was coming home today, I decided that I was going on to see another family member or other family members next weekend. And so I'm traveling on Friday. The underground scares you. Yes, I hate it, Tracy. I hate it with a vengeance now. And as you can imagine, can you even begin to imagine what shenanigans would happen if I tried to get on the underground with Navy Nora? I don't even think it bears. I don't think I'd get out alive, to be honest. So it's not going to happen. So my daughter was trying to help me because I every time I put in my destination, it wanted me to go. It wanted to send me via the London stations. So even sometimes if you put avoid London, it still does it. I don't know why. So anyway, she managed to find me a trip that went from where I will be starting in Wiltshire out to Bristol Parkway, up to Birmingham. So, Richard, if you're around on Friday afternoon, I'm going to be in Birmingham. Mind you, going that way, that's Friday, going that way, I don't think I've got a long stop in Birmingham. But when I come back, I have, and I'll tell you for why. Sam's going to see Alison Hammond in Peter Pan on Thursday with your friends at Longbridge. Oh, I bet that will be good fun, Sam. Do report back to us because I'm sure that will be great. Alison's lovely. I don't know her, but I like her as a personality. think she's got a good sense of humour. I think you have to if you're in pantomime. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, yes, you do. So, so my daughter was helping me do this this journey. So we managed to get it after a lot of faffing and fiddling about. We managed to book that journey to go out to Bristol Parkway, up to Birmingham, and across to Cambridge. And so that was fine. Then I thought, well, I better book the ticket coming back. So I established how long I was staying up there, and I'm going to meet up with one of the Go Live Granny community while I'm up there, unless we have terrible snow, and that scotches that. But you know, there's one of the Go Live Granny people in that part of the world now, so that's going to be a meet up, and so of course, wouldn't you think it's easy? Put it in the reverse thing. Cambridge to my destination in Wiltshire, avoiding London. Well, you would think that was what would be easy, but then you would be totally wrong. Because you can't do it every time. It says you put it in, and it says you put in, and you hit the button that says avoid London. It sends you down to Euston, or no, King's Cross, I think it was. King's Cross is in London, and then you have to get on the underground and go to Paddington. No, it's not okay. We did it umpteen times, it still wouldn't let us. So in the end, we thought, well, we're going to do it the way we want to do it. I'm going to go to Birmingham New Street, and then I'm going to go to Bristol Parkway, and then I'm going to come back to where I started before I went there. So the way I did it, I booked it as 2 separate journeys. I booked Cambridge to London to Birmingham New Street, and then I booked a separate ticket from Birmingham, Bristol Parkway, and then to the original destination. And that way I could do it. But of course, I didn't want. So if you're on a train and you've got train tickets all the way through, and and you'll get a hold up, you get your money back. But I was thinking, if I'm booking it as 2 tickets, if I'm late on the first one, will it count into the second one, or will they say, no, you didn't get to the station on time, we're not going to give you a refund? So what I did was I booked extra time in Birmingham. So I'm in Birmingham for a little while. So I'm coming back on the Tuesday, I think. I don't know if you're around, Richard, or anybody else in the Birmingham area. But I will have a bit of a wait there. Now, it doesn't matter, because I've always got my knitting. I've always got my live streaming facility. I always chat to people, you know, around, all that sort of thing. So I don't mind. So anyway, that's how we've done. So we did that. Then we just so that's all sorted and got the ticket. Well, I better check on my email, because then I booked the tickets for today and Wednesday. And I booked the tickets, and we chose the e-ticket option, because I don't want to go to the machine to get tickets out, because that's all an extra process that can go wrong and hold you up. So e-tickets coming to my phone, well, you could have a problem with that. You could have the fact that your phone might die, your phone might have no signal, you might not be able to get the tickets, but generally I've managed to do it on my phone and it's been okay. But so I did this journey, and I put in, so I was leaving my destination soon after 1 today, and then I should have been home an hour earlier than I was. So I booked it on Friday, but I didn't book Travel Assist till this morning. So I rang up the Travel Assist office, and I got somebody, a nice person. They're all very friendly, no issue, but it took me 15 minutes, what should take about 5 minutes. I was trying to pack at the time and get ready. I'd got plenty of time, but you know, I don't really want to spend it all on the phone talking to the passenger assist people. So just like that. No, just like that, says Richard. Richard's saying, yeah, just like that. I think Richard is referring to Tommy Cooper. Tommy Cooper used to wear a fez like this, and he used to have a catchphrase just like that, just like that. I don't do it justice, I know, but anyway, I think that's what Richard's referring to. So the passenger says underground is for wombles, not grannies. Absolute underground, overground, wombling free. The wombles of Wimbledon Common are we? Yes, you're quite right. Underground is for the wombles. And for those of you not in the UK, the wombles are little characters, funny little characters that live on. If anybody can put a link into it, anybody who wants to see who the wombles are could click on it. So if any of you can put a link in there, that's a clickable link, it would be good. And then people could look it up, but they're little characters who live at Wimbledon Common and pick up they live underground, and then they come out and they pick up all the litter. So you're going to treat oh, you're around. That's brilliant. You're going to treat me to a cuppa. That would be wonderful. We could do a live stream, Richard, as long as I got to the station and I didn't get go missing in action. She Brummy that why? Sorry, who's Brummy? Don't know. Who's Brummy? Wombles? Not. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what you're saying, Richard. Sorry. Try and explain. It's just me being a little mental, having a mental block. So anyway, yes. So trying to book for this trip. So where did I get to? I've forgotten what I said. So that's right. So yes, so it wouldn't let me. It then sent me Deb's over near Cambridge. Oh right, yes. I shall try and link up with her. I don't know. That's good route by Bristol. Excellent. Thank you, Richard. Oh, something fell down. I don't know what it was, but there was a crash. Never mind. It wasn't me and my chair, so I'm okay. Was it? No, it wasn't Bertie Bassett, and I'll give the links to Bertie Bassett for anybody who doesn't know what Bertie Bassett's doing in my stream later when we come on to talking about my daddy. So yeah. So just like that, I forget what I'm talking about. No. So we were booking the tickets, weren't we? No, I was booking passenger assist this morning, and so I rang up the passenger assist, and I gave the time of when I was leaving and where I was leaving from, and the nice person on the phone said, I think his name was Colin. I think I've had two Collins in my life today. One, a passenger assist on the phone, and a passenger assist at one of the stations. Anyway, usually it's Steve's, but it was Colin's today, and Stephanie and Carl. And who else did I meet? Chris was at the first station. Carl was one of the stations. Yeah, all these people. Anyway, so I said where I was leaving, and he found the train, and then he said, oh. I said I'm going via there, and then Reading and Basingstoke are places I often change, and then I end up at Portsmouth and Southsea to get the hover bus outside the station and round to the hover travel and across on the hover. Well, he said there was another train. I could have booked another ticket that would have taken me via Southampton Central and then on to Portsmouth and Southsea and cutting out Basingstoke. But it was a longer journey, so I didn't choose that one. I chose the one that was the shorter journey. And so he said, well, I can't find that journey. So I said, well, what can you book me on? So he could book me on the train that I didn't book, the ticket I didn't book, the one that goes via Southampton that takes longer and gets me home an hour later. So I said, well, book me on that. Well, just book me on whatever you can. So he booked me on that. And then it took 15 minutes for all this shenanigans. Tuesday, yes, Birmingham Museum, Edwardian tea rooms reopened. Excellent. There we go. I've got a date with Richard on Tuesday. So not this Tuesday, Richard. It's the following Tuesday, the 28th. I'll talk to you privately about that and let you know the times. That would be great. So I've, those of you watching in, I've met Richard. I met Richard on the Isle of Wight. Richard comes to the island often, and he and I met on the number 9 bus, and we've met several times since then. And now I shall be meeting him on his home territory because he lives in Birmingham. So there we go. So anyway, so yes, so this passenger assist call took me 15 minutes to actually, Tuesday the 28th, that's it, Richard. And that took me 15 minutes to actually book the passenger assist. So I thought, well, never mind, that's fine, we'll get there. And, you know, by this time I'd also noticed that even though I asked for e-tickets, I hadn't got e-tickets. They'd come through where I had to go and get my tickets out of the machine. Alert, oh no, alarm bells. If I've got to put a ticket machine into the process, something tells me that's going to be more shenanigans than just having a ticket on my phone that came automatically via email. And I was not wrong. So I said to my daughter, could she drop me at the station? We need to be there plenty of time for me to have shenanigans at the ticket machine before I catch the train. Because, you know, it's pretty predictable that if something like that's going to happen, it's going to cause me shenanigans. So she dropped me. There's normally when she picks me up, she can go to the back of the station, the back area of the station, and there's a car park. But sometimes she drops me at the front, like today, because the ticket machine, I've now established where the ticket machine is, and it's right at the front of the station. So she can drop me at the front, and I go on my merry way. And so that's what I did. But of course, I got there, and there were 2 or 3 people in front of me, weren't there? So I thought, well, I hope they don't all have shenanigans. Otherwise, this might cause me to miss my train. Anyway, the first ones got their tickets out and off they went on their merry way. The next one got her tickets out and off she went on her merry way. And then I put my thing in the machine and it was fine. It went in but I had a job with the touch screen because I've got my lovely new nails. Did you see I had my nails done this week while I was away at my daughter's look? I've gone for the Valentine look. I've got little hearts and silver spots, little pink hearts and silver spots. So anyway, I do have Freeze It Park Lifestyle. Hello, how are you? Thank you for coming. Richard's doing a link incoming. That was good. Yes, Richard was referencing Tommy Cooper with the fez. Thank you. So I'm going to take the fez off and I'm going to put my pretty bow back on, and then we'll go back to the fez when I'm talking about my daddy. There we go. There's my pretty bow. So, let's see. Let's have another swig of my coffee. So, so I think did I tell you that when I booked, when the guy couldn't book me through train, he couldn't find the train that I was booked on. About 20 minutes after I'd had the call with him, I got an email saying, your train has been cancelled. That's why he couldn't find the train to book me passenger assist on. So I thought, well, never mind. And my daughter said to me, what a good job. So on the email, it said I could go on the earlier train or the later train. And she said, good job you didn't choose the earlier train, Mum, because then you wouldn't be an hour late, would you? You'd been earlier than you were going to travel and you won't get a refund. So I booked on the next train, and of course I was an hour late. So after the broadcast, I'm going to claim my train ticket back because I was an hour late, and that's what happens when you're an hour late. You're very fine, thank you. How are you? You are so sweet. Thank you, Freeze It Park Lifestyle. Okay, nice to have you here. This is a regular. I'm known as the Go Live Granny. I go off on my travels and do all sorts of things and have all sorts of shenanigans, and then we all have a chat on Sunday evening. Which is nice, but it's not how I started live streaming. I started live streaming to show off the Isle of Wight in all its glory, and then pandemic hit, so I couldn't do live streaming of the Isle of Wight, and then all sorts of different things have happened since then. So, you know, you never know what you're going to get here. It might be knitting, there is some knitting stuff up there, you will see, and I will come to that in a minute. if you just hang around. But if you don't, that's fine as well. Nobody needs to feel they have to stay here. I do prattle on for quite a long time on a Sunday evening, and the more shenanigans I have on my journey, the more I have to tell. So anyway, so back to this journey. So I then was obviously going to come in an hour later. That was fine. They readjust. If anything happens, they can readjust the passenger assist. But of course, he had booked me on this later, on the later trains. When he was doing the passenger assist, he could adjust what was happening. And so I got to the first, my first port. Not a port, it's a station, but first port of call, I think we say, don't we? Even though it's not a port, it's a station. And I met Chris, who is a regular. I see Chris, and I used to see Rob a lot at this station, but Rob now is not doing the passenger assist. He's now in the ticket office. So when I go through that station next time, I'm going to go to the ticket office and see if he's there, just to give him a wave and a hello. So Chris sorted me out and put the ramp out, and I got on the train, and that was fine. And they tend to put me, that's Great Western Railway from that station usually, and they tend to put me in the first class carriage. Even though I don't have a first class ticket, there's a disabled part in the end of the first class train. And he said, do you want to go in the first class, or do you want to go down the other end? I said, in the first class, because when they put me in first class, they often give me a free drink as well. So why would I want to go somewhere else where they were going to charge me if I wanted a drink? So I got a free coffee. So that was lovely. My daughter had packed. She was very sweet this morning. She nipped off to the shops because I had only just decided. Oh, excuse me. I have got a bit of tinsel hanging in my face, and I don't know if I can. Oh, there we are. Look, bits of tinsel. I know why. Because this has been in the box with the Christmas tinsel. That would be why. So my daughter, she nipped to the shops this morning and did a bit of shopping, because although I'm only home for a couple of days, lots of you will know I'm doing Slimming World Journey, and I don't want to eat things that don't fit in with that. And I didn't want to have to go out and do a big shop while I'm home. I'm home and I want to spend time doing some more sorting out my house, and then maybe nipping over to Busy Bee, because I think they might have a sale on, and I might buy myself something new to wear, because as you know, I'm losing weight and a lot of the clothes I had before don't fit me now. So I may or I may not. I'll see. If it's too cold, I'm not going out anywhere. So anyway, she nipped off to the shop and bought me some I love Greek yogurt. I like raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, all that sort of thing I put in my yogurt. I love cottage cheese. I love salad stuff, all those sort of things. Other stuff I've got in my freezer, so if I want a hot meal. But so she nipped off and did me a bag of shopping to save me having to try and do a shop. I didn't want see an online shop. You have to do quite a bit, and I'm not going to be home long enough to eat it. So I would end up doing what I did before, and I have an online shop and then have to take it all with me. As it happened, I had to bring it all this way with me. I had a big bag of shopping, but never mind. I have my Navy Nora, which is my trolley that I walk with, and today it had about 6 bags on it. Some little bags and some big bags. And I had forgotten to take one of my bungee straps. So I do bungee things on with the bungee straps. But the bag that goes right on the top, I had left the bungee strap on the bottom of my stairs when I went the other day. I was in a bit of a rush when the taxi came, and I forgot to pick up the bungee strap to do the last bungee. But never mind. I'm going to make sure I put the bungee straps in next time. Note to self: do not forget the bungees. Anyway, and in my travels today, I must buy some more bags that have zips on, because some of my bags don't have zips. And you know what happens? The bag falls off Navy Nora and tips itself out all over the pavement or all over the platform or wherever it is. But today, the top bag did have a zip on it, so I zipped it up. Well, I did at the start of my journey. And by the time I had got to the hover bus, I had opened it up to get something and forgotten to zip it up. And, oh no, that's before I got off the train, and I had forgotten to zip it up, and I put it on the top, and it wasn't zipped, and I don't think I noticed it wasn't zipped. And when I got on the hover bus, it popped off the top of the bag and it fell on the floor. Nothing fell out, fortunately, but two lovely passengers on the bus were very concerned, and they went to pick it up. I said, look, let's leave it till we get to the hoverport. It's not in anybody's way. So we left it down there till we got to the hover terminal. Then they helped me, and I said, and I was having a job zipping it. The zipper was playing up. My wrist is playing up. It's a bit weak at the moment. And so I asked these lovely ladies if they could just zip it up. So they tried, but it did one of those, you know, the more you zipped it, the more it came undone here, and it wasn't zipping here. So I think I need some bags with zips on. Note to self. One or two of the little bags I had zipped. So I really think I need to get some zipped up bags. Note to self. So that's what I will do. So that's on my agenda. I might have, I don't know if I don't think I've got any much bags with zips on in my storage here. I've got loads and loads of shopping bags that don't have zips. Okay, when you're you know, when you're not traveling on trains and things, but not very good. I do have this nice bag. I won this lovely bag. It looks like it's a computer bag, but I don't have a portable computer. I have my knitting in here. Look, on the train I decided to start. Whoops, hang on. I was knitting a scrubby, and for those of you who don't know what a scrubby is, it's what you scrub your saucepans with. I've been knitting lots of scrubbies, and now we're having all nice sparkly scrubbies. So I've been knitting lovely sparkly scrubbies. So I did a bit on the train. I didn't do much knitting on the train today because I was having this lovely picnic. So my daughter, not only did she go to the shops this morning, pencil on, zip, lubricate. Oh right, okay. I will try and follow that advice, Richard, and see what I can do with the zipper. But anyway, so I won this years ago, 2010 I think it was. I won a Mumpreneur award. I was in business at the time, and I entered something and I won an award. And the award's in the other room, the glass award I've got in the other room, but this was one of the prizes. I've always wanted a little laptop or something to go in there. I must find my my little Amazon, what was it, Amazon Fire Stick. It is a lovely bag. So it's got a zip here. Look, it's got a zip there. It's got a pocket inside. No, it hasn't got a pocket. It's got a zip bit there. This bit isn't zipped, but it's got a little pocket there, and I put my scissors in there because when I'm traveling and I want to do my knitting. Look, I've got a lovely new pair of scissors. This came in my craft stash advent calendar. Look, it matches my scarf. It's now camouflaged. Look, but this is great little pair of scissors, really good. So I just tuck them in there, and I've tucked. I've also tucked in there. Well, I did, but I don't know. No, I think I put it somewhere else. A needle for when I want to stitch up the smoothie hats, which are up there. Because when you're traveling, you don't want to start going through all the bags to find things like I sometimes have to do if I want them. I'm not very good at being consistent at which bags I put my stuff in. But anyway, this one goes over the handle of Navy Nora, so that's quite handy. I have that one. And this is my little handbag that I use. And I bought myself a new purse. Because I don't use cash much these days, but you know, sometimes I do have some, and I put it inside of my bag. But then I also put lots of receipts in there, and I also have my radar key for the toilet in there. And then so much stuff ends up in there that if I want the coins, I have to dig everything out. So I thought, right, I have my credit cards and my bank cards. I've had this for years and years and years, but it's a bit too full now because I've got my loyalty cards and things in here, and so many things. I couldn't get all my stuff in. It was, well, I could get it in, then I couldn't get it out. And I'll be standing trying to get a credit card or a debit card out, and it wouldn't come out. And then I'll make a queue behind me. So I decided that I found Bon Marché this week. I found a Bon Marché store. I thought that Bon Marché had gone into, well, it did go into administration. We had a Bon Marché store on the Isle of Wight, and I loved the Bon Marché clothes, really suitable for me. And it went, I thought they'd gone bust. It closed. So when I saw a Bon Marché shop this week, I was a bit, oh, so I went in it. And I bought myself some new pajamas, some nice fleecy pajamas. They were half price in the sale and lovely and warm. I bought myself a fleecy night dress, which I don't normally wear night dresses, but it looked so lovely. It's got a Christmas design on it. I don't care. Christmas is for all year. It's got a lovely big robin on the front of it, but it's lovely velour. So I thought I'd give that a try, and so I bought a night dress and a pair of nice warm pajamas, and I saw this purse, and I thought, oh, I like the colour of that purse, and I like the fact that I can put some coins in there, and that I can put my debit and credit cards in this bit, and my tickets, and my Slimming World card. Radar key, very useful. It is very useful, Richard. And that was given to me years ago when I was first having my travel shenanigans, because one of my Go Live Granny community could see that I was having awful job. I did tell this story the other day about trying to use the toilets when you've got a lot of luggage and all that. Think it's back in Newport in the old Iceland store near the bus stations. What is? I've forgotten. Well, what did we say that I forgot? Susan, remind me what's back in Newport in the old Iceland. Oh, yes. Are you talking about Bon Marché, Susan? Because what happened? These ladies. So my daughter had gone off somewhere, and then she was coming back for me. She left me because she'd gone off to do something, and she left me. And then she said she'd come and pick me up. So I said, oh, I want to. Oh, I know. We had our nails done. That's right. And then she had to go and do a run with one of the children. She was done and I wasn't. So the shop you were just talking about. Yes, Bon Marché. Sorry, Susan. I do forget very easily. Yes, so she left me having my nails done. And then I was finished. So I nipped down the road to Bon Marché. And then she was going to come and get me. So that. I was on my own for a little while. So I said to the ladies in Bon Marché, I said, oh, I thought Bon Marché had gone out of business. They said they did go into liquid administration, but then they were bought out by Edinburgh Woolen Mill, apparently bought them out. Another shop that I liked. And so I was really pleased to see them. And I said, well, I see you advertising a bonus card. I said, I used to have a bonus card, but we don't have Bon Marché on the Isle of Wight anymore. So I don't suppose I've got a card anymore. Anyway, I gave them my postcode and my card was still on the system. Didn't have any points on it because I'd used them, but I didn't have to go through all that again. So yes, I have a card. And I've no doubt I shall find my way into Bon Marché again very soon when I go back. So that was it. I bought myself some goodies, and I saw that purse just at the side, and it was just perfect what I wanted. And it's been good today. And now I've got my tickets in. I've got my train tickets in this bit, because I now have to make a claim for my journey today because I was an hour late. And I will have to, I've already taken pictures of these in case something happened to them, because when you do a travel claim for a late journey, you have to submit the evidence. And I don't have an e-ticket. I have these tickets. So they're tucked in there and they're safe, but I have taken a picture of them as well. So I've got the evidence. So now, but anyway, so this purse rather fills this bag up. I don't want much in a handbag, but I might have to buy myself a new handbag. This handbag is getting a bit old. It's got a zip that comes up that way and a zip that comes up that way, and the zipper bit has come off this end, so I have to make sure I pull it right up so that nothing escapes out of the bag. but I've had it for a very long time. I think perhaps it's past its sell date by date, so I need to get another one. That's my excuse, and I am sticking to it. And while I've been chatting away, Tracy has sorted with Susan out, who thought it was Bon Marché in somewhere, and it wasn't. It was Peacocks. So that's sorted out. The Tracy and Susan both live on the Isle of Wight, and they've sorted each other out. So they know what they're talking about now. Well, I think they do. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but I don't know what I'm talking about. But it doesn't matter. Some of you like to hear the load of rubbish I'm talking. I don't know why this is flopping. I think it needs a bit of attention, don't you? Anyway, so I'm going to flip over onto my fez now. So did I finish my story of my shenanigans? No, I don't think I did. Leave this on, and we'll finish the story of the my journey home. So I've met all these lovely people today, lots of passenger assists, but we went through Cosham today, and the train stopped at Cosham. And if you've been following my social media page, you will know that at Cosham I was very sad. Don't get sad very often, but at Cosham I saw somebody waiting on the platform in a mobility scooter, who clearly wanted to get on the train and the carriage that I was on. And so I sat looking and waiting for the passenger assist people to be there. There was no way that person could get on without a ramp. And so I was watching, and nobody appeared, and no ramp appeared. So eventually I got up to went to push the door button on the train door to open the door so I could look out and wave my hands about to see if I could get any assistance for this person on the platform. But the door wouldn't open. By this time, the train had decided it was going and leaving this poor person stranded. And that means somebody wasn't doing their job, because I believe that if a guard had looked up the platform, they would have seen somebody on the mobility scooter waiting to get on the train. So did they look, and did they see that person and decide, well, we're not going to wait for them, we're going to go? Because it makes me very sad, and that's a shame, because I've had such great customer service. So I did report it when I got to one of the passenger assist people and said, it's not okay. It really isn't okay in this day and age for that person to be left there. When I get such great service, why isn't somebody else getting that same? I can only assume Cosham don't have extra staff. It's one of those smaller stations, and that's why I always like to go through the big stations when I do it. But anyway, the train normally directs me through the bigger stations, so I like to make sure, so that I don't have that excuse that nobody's going to put the ramp up for me. But even when the station don't have that many staff, the guards on the train, some of the trains have the ramps on the train. So some of the Great Western trains have that ramp actually in the carriage, because apparently each of those ramps fits. Different trains have different ramps, so they need different fittings. And if you look on some of the platforms, if ever you're travelling on the train, you will see sometimes a range of ramps in a row, more than one ramp. And I didn't realise, but that's what they told me. Different trains, so you've got all the different makes of train. You've got the Great Western trains, you've got the South Western trains, you've got the cross country trains, you've got the Avanti West Coast trains, etc., etc. And apparently they all have different sizes. So, but anyway, I was a bit sad. Going now to have a shower before getting ready for work tomorrow. Okay, night, Tracy. Lovely to see you in the broadcast. Thank you, and catch up with you soon. Sometime I'll be on the island long enough to actually meet up and have a coffee with you. I don't know when, but maybe sometime in the not too distant future. So anyway, I reported that. Anyway, when I got to Portsmouth and Southsea, which is my final train station before I have to get on the hover bus and onto the hovercraft, lovely Stephanie introduced herself to me. Or she came and she helped me. And not only did she help me get off the train, we had quite a chat, because I had about 15 minutes between getting off the train and I have to walk down the platform, go down in the lift, go across the concourse to the bus stop, which is just around the corner. which also gives me time to go to the toilet. And there's a disabled toilet right, very handy, because I think I've mentioned it before. I do not like using the loo on the train. I'm not that steady on my pins. And if you then add in a rocky train, shenanigans is all I'm going to say. So I try to use the toilets at the stations. Now there weren't many there wasn't much time at the stations I changed at. Hello, Steve is in the house. He's doing a flying visit today. Hello, Steve. Steve, window cleaner Steve, has arrived via YouTube. So nice to see you, Steve. I have been traveling. I haven't had any Steves on my journey today. I've had 2 Collins, I think. I've had a Carl. I've had a Stephanie. But anyway, I was just talking about, you're here till 9:30. Okay, that's fine. I'm sure I should be here a lot longer than 9:30 because I've been talking about all the shenanigans I've had. Thank you, Steve. Nice to see me. Nice to see you too. So I'm talking. Yes, Richard. It's window cleaner, Steve. That's right. It is. So I was talking all about the shenanigans. I've had lots of shenanigans today, more than usual. So anyway, yeah, so when I got to Portsmouth and Southsea, I had these 15 minutes and I was chatting because I had never met Stephanie before. She's quite new. And I said, oh, is Steve around? Is Travel Assist Steve around? She said, oh, no, he's not working today. And then I said, oh, what about Mark with the big hair? No, he's not working today. So they now, Portsmouth and Southsea, now they all getting to know me. And she said she had seen the fact that I had posted stuff on social media, but I'd not met her before. Anyway, she was wonderful. Not only did she see me to the lift on the platform, but she saw me down in the lift, came down in the lift with me. She also opened the disabled toilet for me. I had my own radar key, but I didn't have to fish it out because she opened it for me. So I waited outside with my trolley because I take my trolley in usually, but I didn't need to. And then she walked me all the way around to the bus. Now, Neil, who is the CEO of Hover Travel, has wanted disabled people to have people escort them from the Hover bus to the train terminal. And I've only ever had that once before. It doesn't seem to happen, but it's getting better and better. Portsmouth and Southsea have really upped their game since I, had some shenanigans, some fun and banter with them. They really upped their game now. Anyway, this chap. So what was I going to say? No, so it's been really good. So Neil's been wanting that to happen. Well, Stephanie made that happen today. She escorted me right round, and I have fed that on to Jan Brooks, who is the CEO of Isle Access on the island, a friend of mine. She was the one that told me that Neil of Hover Travel wants that link to happen, and so I tagged her and said, please make sure you tell Neil that that's what happened today. That was brilliant, but on a previous time it didn't happen. So hope everyone's okay. Your mum's boiler packed up, so you're going over to set up the mobile radiator I have and some EDF fans. What a great son you are. That's brilliant, because you don't want your mum catching pneumonia or anything like that. I can tell you from experience it is not nice, because that's what I almost died of 2 years ago. But anyway, I didn't, and I'm getting, well, I think the passenger assist people, I think the passenger assist people are on a mission to get me fit, because today I ended up running, well, sort of running. If you can imagine Go Live Granny trying to go a bit faster than she usually does. I think it was at Reading. I got off the train, and the gap that I should have had between getting off that train and getting on the next train had shortened because this train was late. So then there's not so much, time to connection time. So he said, quick, go and get in the lift. So I whizzed to the lift, but then he got in front of me and whizzed a bit further, and he said, I'll hold the lift for you. So there was a lift as we were approaching it, but there were a lot of people queuing for it, so we wouldn't have gotten in it. He knew to run round the other side, that there was a lift round the other side. So he ran round the other side and got that lift and held it for me. there was a chap getting in with a bicycle as well, but that was fine. We let him in, and then we had, yes, it's at Reading where you have to then go. So we went up in a lift. Then you have to run across the course, the concourse, a big concourse at Reading, and then we had to go in another lift down. And he's on his radio. And again, there were two lifts. There was one straight ahead that he thought would be too busy, so we went round the side to the side one. So he's on his radio saying, "I'm coming down. Can you put the ramp on the train?" Because there was so little time. And I'm just whizzing along as fast as I can go. Not that I can go very fast, but I have to do my best. Right, anyway, so Richard's making a comment there. I've forgotten what he's commenting to, but anyway. So most of you probably will know what he's commenting to. He's saying, yes, they are, sadly, but right. Oh, I think that no, she's not, and the plumber's not over till next weekend. Must be busy with this kind of thing at this time of year. Yes, I bet they're very busy. That's what Richard's referring to. So anyway, my boiler's working. My neighbour came in and put my heating on this morning, so it was warm for me. Neil Hovertraver is a good bloke. Yes, he is. Steve's going to catch up with this live tomorrow, so you won't miss anything. Right, okay. Bye, Steve. If you've got to go and keep your mum warm. Make sure she's nice and warm. And, you know, you can always do the catch-up here if you want to. So anyway... so where was I? I've forgotten where I was. I was at Reading, wasn't I? Reading being my maiden name. I was Lynn. Well, they used to call me Marilyn or Lynn, but I was Lynn Reading initially. That was my maiden name. That's not why I travelled through Reading. It's just the way the train takes me. Anyway, so yes, so we were rushing across the concourse as fast as my little legs would take me, and he's then called the lift. So there was this lift straight ahead that he thought would be busy. So he went round the corner to another lift. Nobody was queuing there, but the lift came up and it had about a gazillion cases in it. It was full of cases. Actually, I do exaggerate. There were some very large suitcases on wheels that are not quick to move. And of course, he knows they're trying to hold the train for me. And we've still got to go down in the lift and get to the train. So anyway, these people, about 6 or 7 great big suitcases came out. There were 2 people in the lift, but their buddies had come up on the escalator. And so they were coming around to take the luggage out. I thought, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, earlier in the day, no, on one of the stations. So was it at Reading? No, it might have been at Southampton Central. There was one of the platforms where I had to come up in a lift, run along, whiz along a long walkway, and go down. By the time I got to the lift, I was joined by a lady in a wheelchair and a lady carrying a huge bear. It wasn't a real bear; it was a stuffed bear. And it's not often you get to share a lift with a bear. So I said, "Oh, do you mind if I take a selfie?" They said, "No, go for it." So that's why you see a bear on my social media, because that's joined me in the lift. So anyway, so there we are at Reading station, and we're trying to get in the lift, but all the luggage is trying to come out. So we get in the lift and we go down, and they've managed to put the ramp on the train, which means the train can't go because there's a ramp on it. At which point I appear and quickly jump into the train. Well, I didn't jump. I went up on the train on the ramp, and the chap carrying my bag helped me in quickly. Oh, somewhere along the line, was that Harvey? No, I don't know whether that might have been Harvey. Do you know, I've forgotten which person was at which station. I have to look back at the photographs. Harvey was at one of the stations today. Mario was oh no, I think it was Mario who was running me across. Good morning, Hazel. Hazel coming in now from Australia. Good morning there. Reading is always a dash between connections. It certainly is. Like a hamster on a training wheel. Yeah, so... do you know, after I've done the broadcast, I think I'm going to lie down and go to bed straight, you know, because I felt like I needed to do that when I got back, because I thought, you know what, they're putting me on a training course. I'm not quite sure if I'm up for this, but it's a free training course. I get all this passenger assist for for nothing, and my train was an hour later than I should have been, so I've also got a refund to do. So that's the last 3 trains that I've been on. No, one was from before, just after Christmas, which I've only got till next week to claim. But I'm having a job finding the paperwork for that one, because when I went up to see my firstborn up north, I booked an open return, and when I came back, I can't remember what happened, because I rang passenger assist and booked. I said, I don't know what I do now because I've got an open return, and they booked me on trains through, and that was the day that all the trains were cancelled, and I went via Euston. I said, I don't want to go via Euston. I don't want to do London changeovers. And they said, no, you go into Euston and you come out of Euston. So there was no having to go on the tube or anything like that. So, right. So Steve likes my Minnie Mouse bow. It's my daddy's 104th birthday, or it would have been today. He's having a heavenly party. He left us in 2010. And so, he would have been 104 today. And there are some tributes around to him, Steve, that you perhaps don't know about. Bertie Bassett over here. That's a Bertie Bassett I made with my friend. We made it together, and that went on our carnival float because my dad loved Bertie Bassett. Okay, and he loved Bertie Bassett. My dad was a local preacher, and so he used to preach in the Methodist church, and he would always go to church with bags of licorice, all sorts, and talk about people in the church being all sorts of people. So that's where that came from. And you might see another I've got all sorts of licorice around. This is my dad here, my wonderful dad. But as I say, it would have been his 104th birthday today. Yes, 104th, that's right. So so there's a bit of a tribute going on here to him. So those things are because he liked all sorts of people coming into the church. When I was out and about going to Bon Marché the other day, I walked past a church and it had licorice all sorts on a poster outside the church, and it said something about church welcoming all sorts of people, and it was a reminder of my dad. It was so much like my dad. My dad had licorice all sorts ties and licorice all sorts cufflinks, and you name it, people gave him licorice all sorts things. But one of the things that also reminds me of my dad. So I think I finished my travel shenanigans. I did. Oh, I didn't. We'll go. Let's finish the travel shenanigans, and then we'll finish the dad tribute, and then we'll talk about the knitting that's up there. So all this, I got on that train. We rushed, and they put the ramp up, and I got on that train. So that was wonderful. Had this lovely chat when I got to Portsmouth and Southsea. I think I've covered most bases of what happened. But then, and then Stephanie walked me round to the Hover terminal, and then there was something else that happened. I can't quite remember. But I think I've become quite a personality now at Portsmouth and Southsea. They're all starting to see me on the social media. And Mark with the big hair, who got me in the taxi the other day so that I didn't miss the Hover, he wasn't working today. Rob, who let me in the kiosk at Portsmouth and Southsea the other day because it was cold on the platform, he wasn't there today. But Stephanie was there. And then I think it was Colin with her, and Colin knew me. Stephanie knew about me, and now she's on my social media today. So lots and lots of things going on. So then I got on the hover bus, and then I managed to get no problem catching the Hover, except the last shenanigans of the day. At that point, I usually ring a taxi just before I board the Hover. The Hover is 10 minutes across from Portsmouth to the Isle of Wight. So I like to ring the taxi so that the taxi's waiting for me when I get to the hoverport. Ring, 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 ring. And nobody answered. Right, okay, let's try it again. Ring, 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 ring. We can't connect to this number. Oh, okay. No, I don't know whether it rang that time. And then it went ring, ring, ring again. And and it went to answer phone. Do you have a taxi phone that goes to answer phone? Not a lot of good, because you can't talk to an answer phone and get a response and know what's going on. So I got on the hover and I thought, oh, I'll ring while I'm on the hover. But while I was on the hover, I met a friend that I hadn't seen for a long time. And so we were chatting on the hover, and 10 minutes is not very long to chatter. So we chatted. And then once I got off the hover, I went into the hover terminal to sit in the warm and ring a taxi. And actually, a taxi came fairly quickly, and they sent me a big minibus type taxi, which is great because if they send that sort of taxi, I don't have to unload all my bags off of Navy Nora. They just lift her up and put her in. And that's what the guy did this time. I mean, in the past, people don't listen when especially when I was going from where I started today on my destination, when I had to once get a taxi there because my daughter wasn't available and my son-in-law wasn't available to take me. I said, I need an estate car to get my stuff in. And they sent a saloon car. Which bit of I need an estate car did they not understand? And the guy wasn't even going to attempt to put the stuff on the back seat. Navy Nora will go on the back seat of a car, but this guy didn't want to do that, and he wasn't very helpful, and he wasn't going to ring his company and get it sorted. I had to do it. At that point, I was very lucky because my son-in-law had not been able to take me because he had important phone calls coming in from the States. But as it happened, he'd had the important phone call had finished. I went in to tell him that I was still there and the taxi hadn't arrived. Not expecting him to take me, but just telling him I was still around. And he said, I've just got time to take you to the station and get back before my next call. So that was solved that problem there. So anyway, that was I think that's more than shenanigans usually happen. I had a few more shenanigans today than I usually have, but I had a nice time. I met lovely people. The only sad bit of my day was the fact that they didn't onboard this person at Cosham, and they left the person in the mobility scooter on a cold platform. That was not good. Anyway, that was everything else was. There's humour. You've got to have humour in it. You've got to make light of it because otherwise you do your head in and you'll be very miserable. So I don't want to be miserable. I like to cheer you all up and have a bit of fun. So anyway, as I say, it's party time. That's why I put my big party bow on. But I'm going to put on my daddy hat. So my daddy, like Tommy Cooper. Tommy Cooper was a comedian in the UK many years ago. Look him up if you're not quite sure. But he had a catchphrase that said "just like that," which is why Richard said that earlier. So this hat. Again, those of you who've watched me for a long time will know that I wear lots of mad things on my head. And previously, when I got this, but it was never just I didn't wear it as a fez. I had all sorts of things on here as tributes to my dad. And I concocted this hat during. I didn't make the hat. I bought the hat off of Amazon. But my dad used to have a real fez that my Grattan brought him when she went on her round the world cruises. She came back and she gave him a real fez. And he used to wear it. We used to have family parties. We had a big house and we had family parties with party games. We used to play all sorts of party games, like children's party games, but for grown-ups. And we did all sorts of mad things and it was wonderful. But my dad was a little, he was short of stature, a big personality, but short in stature. And he used to put his fez on and stand on a chair and say, well, when I've got my fez on, you all have to listen to me. But do you think they did? You might have guessed that I come from the sort of family and friends that don't do things like that. So they never listened to him. They'd always tried to shout him down. He was trying to give the instructions for all the party games, and everybody just made fun. But it was all good, happy banter. And that we had one of those wonderful parties every Boxing Day. It was amazing. We used to love it. My mum did gorgeous food. My dad did all the party games. We had to, do all the tidying and clear the house up, and I think we probably moaned about doing that, but we had a wonderful time. So the fez reminds me of my dad. So in COVID, when we were all in lockdown, and I was doing live streaming every night at 10 o'clock, I would do some knitting or do different things, and everything I made went on my hat, because that's this is the bit you can see of me when I'm live streaming. So I would build up lots of hats, and so I had this hat. I'll see if I can find a picture of it. You may need to try that for your family parties. You're only 5 foot, so you need a fancy hat and a chair. Okay, well, try it. But his hat was just like this. Didn't have fancy bits on it. But during COVID, I put on here. So I knitted a little bride, and I had a bride on here. I had some flowers on here. So the bride represented, it was me and my daughter. So my dad gave me away at my wedding. So that was a representation of my dad giving me away. But at my daughter's wedding, my dad said to him on the morning of the wedding, so my mum and dad had a big house in Ryde, and my daughter actually left for the church from my mum and dad's house. And so my dad was around while my daughter was getting ready, and she just had all her makeup done and her hair done and everything. And like a tease that he is, he said, "And when are you going to get your makeup done?" And I just remember he had such fun and banter, and so there we go. Anyway, nice to see Steve and Heather greeting each other over there. So anyway, so that was the bride that was on there. Then there were some flowers on here. Now, when my dad and my mum were first married, they lived in a flat, and they had some people in one of the other flats who'd planted some seeds in the garden. It was a shared garden, and they planted some seeds. My naughty daddy, he went out there and he put some big artificial flowers in the garden, like these plants that have sprung to life over, in a matter of minutes. So that the flowers there reminded me of him. What else? Oh, I did have another hat I was trying to find that I made in COVID that was like I think it was representing my dad's 100th birthday. Yes, because it's 104 now. So 100th birthday would have been in COVID, and I'll find it and I'll put it on, and I'll put a picture up of it. But I made it out of the bag that Helen sent all the wool to me in COVID. She sent me, because I was locked down, in the north of England. She sent me all this wool. I used the wool bag to make a hat. And then I had a picture of my dad, and I had a mortarboard on that. I think, did I have a mortarboard on this? I can't remember. My dad had 2 degrees. So he did 2 different degrees, and so he had a mortarboard. A mortarboard reminded me of my dad. I'm trying to think what else was on that hat. I don't know if any of you who were watching back then can remember, but I will try and find it. But then in the end, I wanted to give away the things that were on the hat, or give them over to charity. So I've cut them all off. So there's holes in the hat where I put them on. But anyway, that's why I'm wearing a fez today, because it's my daddy's 107th birthday. I've also got something else that made me smile. Now, my dad died in June. It was just before Father's Day. Hello, Debs. No, we're still live, Debs. And Debs, I'm coming. I need to privately message you, because I might be coming somewhere near your area next weekend. Richard said I'd be near you, so we need to chat in case I am. But anyway. So I'm not always good about getting. Well, I am better now. Now I make greetings cards, but when I was buying cards, I was never very good about buying the card in time to get it to the person for the occasion. Now, my dad died just before Father's Day 2010, so he died in June, and that year, for some reason, I think I knew that I wasn't going to get to send them to him because he'd been ill. But I had the presents and the card that year. Plenty of time. Hello, Jill. Do watch the replay. Jill was messaging me earlier. I think you were messaging me, weren't you, and saying you're going to watch tonight. I have had so many shenanigans. You need to watch the replay. Anyway, so I've kept somewhere the cards around here somewhere, but the present was this. This was his present, and it said, "I smile because you're my dad. I laugh because there's nothing you can do about it. And I keep this in my office, and it just reminds me, it says the best dad. And he really was the best dad. He was wonderful. He was a dad to the four of us, but he also took on that role of being a good father figure to a lot of people. So, you know, so this is still a constant reminder of my dad. And you know what? My dad would have been having a heavenly party today, but he would have also been laughing at all the shenanigans I was traveling, running across stations and you know and down in, not in escalators, down in lifts and all these things that were going on. He would have found that very amusing. So anyway, so that was that. And then what else? Oh, so yes, the Bertie Bassett's were all sorts of people. Your dad would have been 100 in May. Missed it by just over a decade. Nice memories of your dad. Yeah, my dad was 89. He led a very good life. He was a very good Christian man. There were one or two people who didn't like him, but most people did. He was one of those people that, you know, a lot of people really liked. One or two didn't. The taxmen didn't. But you know what? It wasn't because he fiddled his taxes. He was a taxman years ago, and in later life he was sorting them out because they were trying to charge him things that they shouldn't be charging. And you know, he was sorting out the HMRC and the tax office because he knew how it was done. He was a wonderful dad, Steve, and you'll hear me, you know, reference him in lots of my live streams. So I will find that funny hat that I made on, you know, I had to construct it out of whatever I had available because we were in lockdown in COVID, and I was live streaming every night with whatever I could find around. And because I wasn't at home, I was locked down at my son's house. So that was quite amusing. Anyway, oh, I have this, and this is the start of a Bertie Bassett chocolate orange cover. So that's going to be a Bertie Bassett as well. So that will go for the fundraising. I think my daughter said I made 50. My granddaughter told me I made 50 chocolate orange covers. So they raised £200 to £300 on those chocolate orange covers I did before Christmas. So anyway, we've now, don't worry, Betty Davis once said, if everyone likes you, then something's wrong. Absolutely, you know. And you know what? I don't care if people don't like me. I tell them, when they start trolling me, I say, if you don't like me, scroll on. Scroll on. That's what your thumb's for, isn't it? Scroll on. I had so many people be horrible to me, but you know what? I don't care. I'm not going to. I spent 30 years of my life teaching children not to listen to the bullies and what, you know, and what they were trying to do to you. And even now, some issues have happened recently within the family, you know, my grandchildren. And I said to one of them recently, I said, that person's a bully. And really, if you react, that's exactly what they want. Or if you know, if they know that they're causing you harm, they will keep on doing it. I've had people come into our live stream. Some of you will know that because some of you've seen it years ago it was pre-COVID, I think. And I had people come into the live stream and try and disrupt the live stream, but I wouldn't let them. I wouldn't let them disrupt it. I just carried on regardless. And in the end, I mean, I can actually go in and block people if they're being horrible. But, you know, I haven't had to do that for a long time, but I did end up blocking some people because it's rude. It's not nice to be horrible to people. And we have so many people now with mental health. You hear about so many people taking their own lives. And a lot of that is because of the bullies. You know, and it's dreadful. Steve's saying exactly, Lynn, he used to worry the same. Now, wait a minute. Now he could. Oh, now he's older. He couldn't care less. Absolutely. You know, it's their problem if they don't like me. And actually, I had somebody who told me once that, and I'm pretty sure I know who it was. Somebody was telling me that some of my viewers didn't like the way I was doing something. Now I'm not quite. I have a feeling it was he who didn't like it, but he was pretending it was somebody else. And he, you know, nice enough guy, but he was telling me how to do my live streams. Now my live streams are my live streams. Other people's live streams, they can do it another way. But when I was doing the carnivals, when I was live streaming the carnivals, I would always give a running commentary because people like to know, my audience liked to know what the carnival float was all about and who was on the carnival float and all those things. I liked to give, so I used to go at the beginning of the carnival season. I would go, and the first carnival I would walk all down before the carnival went off and find out which floats were which float was the ride carnival float and which one was the Shanklin one, and the different areas and the different queens and what they all represented. And this guy said to me, "Oh, you people are complaining that you're talking over, on your live stream." I said, "Well, that's fine, because that's what my audience like." I said, "If other people don't like it, they don't have to watch me. I am not compulsive viewing. You don't have to watch me. I'm very grateful to those of you who come in and watch me, but I don't need 1 million people watching me like this." Like one of those guys was trying to bully me the other day and say, "Oh, you're rubbish because you haven't got 1 million viewers." I don't want 1 million viewers. Even if there's only 10 people watching now, it doesn't matter. You're 10 very special people watching me. I'd rather have 10 special people watching me than 1 million people who don't really give a toss. So there we go. Anyway, Heather's saying, bullies don't actually like themselves because they are trying to make people feel as badly as they do. Absolutely. And and Steve's agreeing with you and saying it is their problem. So as I say, I was a teacher and I would hate to see children being bullied, and I would do anything I could to stop it. Not always easy, and they start bullying at such a young age. Yes, Steve, everyone on here who's commenting is lovely. I don't know whether there's any people watching in, but who are not. But actually, if they're not commenting, it doesn't matter. I don't worry unless they start trying to disrupt. And if they try and disrupt, I'll either tell them off in my best teacher voice, like I can, or just block them, or tell them to scroll on by, because we don't need any of that. The world has changed so much, and it is such a different world than I grew up in, and too many people, you're hearing of suicides every day. So much going on social media where people are bullying each other, and it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. I know what it's like to lose someone to suicide. My brother took his life. He was in a very dark place, and he was let down by the medics, and he wasn't. He's at peace now. He was not. He was in a very bad state. I think COVID did a lot of that, and then there were other things. There was so much. We weren't that close at that time, and so I don't know all the ins and outs. I do know that it's very hard when somebody hits that rock bottom to actually pull them out of it. But you see so many of these TV personalities now that anyway, I don't want to talk about bullies and suicide. I want to move on to something nicer. Debs is saying, yeah, you've made me laugh, Debs. That's good. Let's put my party hat on. And that's a bit more. Let's have the party hat. There we go. Debs is saying, can she pretend to be naughty? You need time out on the step with cake before blood test tomorrow. So Debs is referring back. She's saying, sorry about my brother. Yeah, it was difficult, but we had difficulties between us ourselves, but I no way would ever want anybody to do that, whether whatever your relationship was. But yes, it wasn't nice getting that news, and really very difficult. Anyway, so Debs is talking about the naughty step. So way back in COVID, when I live streamed every night through COVID at 10 o'clock, because we needed to keep each other's mental health at a good level, and I did my best to help, and my audience came in and did their best to help everybody and me. We had a wonderful time. We had more viewers then, but life changes. It doesn't matter. And you better go now. Night, Lynn. Night, everyone. Lots of love to you all. Bye, Steve. Good night. There we are. Kiss for you. So in COVID, we were trying to keep each other buoyant, and we ended up with people saying that they were eating cake and they were doing this, and they had to be. Then people said, "Oh, you have to be sent to the naughty step," and then they were doing all sorts of things. This virtual naughty step, and people would be having cakes and Baileys and all sorts of things, and they got put on the naughty step. They were having a right old party on the naughty step. But it was all a bit of banter. It got us through COVID. We did all sorts of fun things going through COVID, including knitting. Which brings me to this here. Look, I have put up some of my knitting bits and pieces. So, as you know, I'm an avid knitter. At the moment, my wrist is trying to stop me knitting. So I haven't knitted every day, but I had the gauntlet thrown down the other day. So there's a bit of a challenge going on. So if any of you know any knitters, I might want you sharing this. So let me say what happened. So for many years in the past, and I can't remember when it started, but the people who make the innocent smoothie drinks would run a campaign called the Big Knit, and the idea was that people like me and other knitters around the country would make little hats to go on the smoothie bottle. So you can imagine a little, I mean, this is a bottle of glue, but just imagine that's a smoothie drink. See, the hats would, it's not the right shape, but the hats would just sit on the top. And so, that's a better one. Look, I can do it like that. There we go. So just imagine this is a bottle of smoothie drink. So we'd make these little hats to go on the top, and then we'd send them all off to Age UK. So Age UK is a charity on the island that looks after the oldie people like me, and that's not why I've done it, because of course I wasn't in the oldie brigade probably when I first started, or I might have been. I can't remember how many years I've been doing. I think they've been going for about 20 years. I'm not sure. Can anybody let me know on that one? Can you Google it, somebody? So anyway, because I always like supporting charities, and because I like the idea of these little hats raising money for charity, and they were quite easy, and we've always got bits of wool in our stash, I thought, right, I did it. So years ago, I would make lots of these, and then I would bundle them up and send them off to the Age UK head office in the UK. And I know I've told this story before. So one day I was in the works in Newport on the Isle of Wight, and Newport on the Isle of Wight, not Newport in Wales. And I'm just going to do an aside, and Richard knows what I'm coming about. The Royal Mail people ordered, the Royal Mail people in Newport in Wales ordered a new postal van. And it was delivered to Newport on the Isle of Wight, and it had Welsh words written on the side of it. How can you get that so badly wrong? If they can't deliver their own postal vans to the right place, how the hell are they going to deliver our parcels to the right place? Anyway, that was the one Richard had shown me, that I'd seen it online, and then Richard sent it to me as well. But they could not even get their own postal vans delivered to the area that they needed to be. Anyway, that was an aside. So anyway, so I would post all these little hats off, and then of course I was saying I was in Newport on the Isle of Wight in the Works, that lovely shop, the Works, and I was chatting randomly to a person in the, just a customer, and somebody went past the outside and heard my voice. And it was a blast from my past, somebody I knew who'd set up a charity when her own daughter was poorly, and got a charity going that now has, I think she's passed that on, and it's done some really good work. And that charity was called Pop and Grow. And it was, her daughter was in hospital with wires going in, and you couldn't get a baby grow on the baby because the wires didn't fit round that. So Paula actually decided that you should have a baby grow that popped open, so you could put the wires in the holes in the baby grow. And she had a friend who sewed, who sorry, she had a friend who sewed. Let me, a bit of cold coffee, but it doesn't matter. I don't mind cold coffee. I hate cold tea. So this charity was marvelous, and it did it. I think it's still going now, and it was absolutely amazing. And but she then handed it over as her daughter got older. I think she'd handed over. She went to work for Age UK Isle of Wight. Tracy, was in here earlier. She works for Age UK, but she works in one of the stores on the Isle of Wight. But they supports the main charity. Although Tracy does give us smoothie hats that are handed in there to the Age UK Isle of Wight charity, so it stays on the island. So basically, if we knit hats on the island, we now give. Paula told me that if I gave them into the Age UK Isle of Wight office, they stay on the island for you. The money stays on the island for use for our own residents, which I think is nice. If you're in an area, it's nice to know that your money's helping in that area. I mean, money given to charity always helps, but it's nice, isn't it, if you know it's helping in your area. And so during COVID, no, was it COVID? Were we in COVID? No, we weren't in COVID at the time. This was pre-COVID, because we wouldn't have been out doing photo shoots and things. And so, although it must have been after, I don't know. But anyway, through my social, sorry, the brain is foggy. Through my social media, I then got more people doing these hats, and people all over the UK started making the hats and sending them to us for Age UK Isle of Wight. It was amazing, and we raised a huge amount of money. I will try and find the certificates. I've got some lovely gold certificates that they sent us for the Go Live Granny community for all the hats that we did, and it was amazing. Yvonne is not in the broadcast, but Yvonne was a great sharer of my posts, and she shared me into lots of knitting groups, and we had loads of knitting people coming and doing that. So for years and years, they've run this campaign where for every little hat that we made, they would donate 25p. Let's just, right, so Steve's gone. Susan saying we haven't had posts for ages. It's been terrible since COVID. Debs is saying, how amazing for baby grow with holes. I have NHS handmade compression gloves with extra pressure to stop me shaking. Amazing sewing. That's brilliant too, isn't it, Debs? That's wonderful. So going back to this, we had lots of people all over the UK sending their little hats to us, and Innocent Smoothie would pay 25p to the Age UK charities, whether it was the national one or us. On the Isle of Wight, we had to hit a target that had been set. As long as we hit the target, then Age UK Isle of Wight would get the money for local use, because they're all independent charities. That the Age UK is the main overarching charity, and then all the different areas have their own things. If you look on social media at the moment, you'll see loads, might see loads of Innocent Smoothie hat groups all around the country. And so I've been waiting for ages to know when the next campaign was, because they had a big gap. They did a lot of campaigns, and then there was a big gap, and people kept saying to me, Lynn, are they doing another one? I said, I don't know. They say they are, but I don't know when. And then recently I saw that they've got a campaign 2025, and all the hats have to be in by the end of June for us at the Age UK Isle of Wight office. So they were sharing that out. They actually were sharing a photograph that we'd taken on our photo shoot, and it wasn't giving credit back to us as a community. So I have been in touch, and I have had an apology. The person who's been using that photograph recently is new to the charity, and there was nothing on the file that said it wasn't their photograph. I don't mind them using it, but it's good to credit it back to the Isle of Wight, to the Go Live Granny community, because I'm very protective of my community, and lots of my members made those hats in that picture, and I want it, tracked back to all those people who put in all that effort. That's all I want, and anyway, so I wrote to, I was miffed. I think I mentioned it on a broadcast last week or something, when I wrote to Age UK. I wrote to somebody who used to deal with me before, lovely lady who came and collected all the hats, but I think she perhaps doesn't work there anymore. And so I'd written, I think I'd emailed her. That's right, I'd emailed her and it had bounced. So I found another one that was info at, and I sent that off, and then it got to the person who's coordinating it all now, who I have to say responded very, very quickly and apologized, and told me how it happened. She's now put it in a file that has to give it permissions, that sort of thing. So that's fine, because it is important to credit, anyway. So and there was such amazing work, there were so many hats in that lovely picture. So anyway, so they were all, so they put that up, denoting this year's campaign. So I think one of you tagged me. I think Susan tagged me, or somebody tagged me. I think it was Susan who tagged me when she saw that picture, and alerted me so that I knew there was a campaign on as well. And so there is a target, and the target is 12,500. I think. I'm pretty sure that's the target. 12,500. As long as we hit that number of hats, and I don't mean just me and the Go Live Granny community, I mean the whole of the Isle of Wight knitting community and anybody else who wants to join in from the mainland. And so that's what we've got to do. So then I was at my daughter's, as you know, and I started knitting. And if you've been watching, you'll see I started knitting, and then my daughter decided that it was great. She's never done much in the way of knitting. She learnt to knit, but she's never really been confident with it. But seeing me start doing all this knitting, it's suddenly been really good for her and her mental health. And so she's been doing quite a bit of knitting. Obviously, I'm a faster knitter than she is, but she's doing pretty well. And I am so proud and so impressed with her. So that's wonderful. So we've been doing knitting together. And then I got into banter with Helen from Isle of Wool. So Helen, that's right. She'd put a post on Isle of Wool saying that she was going to crochet at least one hat a day. I mean, she's got lots to do because she's running the wool shop and all that. So she can't be all day making these things. Although she does a lot in the shop, but she's got other things to do, obviously, for the shop. So she said that she was going to make one a day. And so I can't remember how the banter went, and there was a bit of a challenge, and she threw the gauntlet down to me, and she said, now this is where you all come in, folks, because I need you to share anything I do about the smoothie hat campaign, because it's all happy, healthy banter. And if you take it on board and join in, we will get a lot of hats done for the charity. And so she said, she challenged the Go Live Granny community to make more hats than she and her assistant Anne in the shop can make. Well, there's a lot more of us, aren't there, folks? Come on, the numbers. And so we've got this healthy banter going on, and the end result will be a lot of hats that raise a huge lot of money for Age UK Isle of Wight charity. Now, Smoothie Campaign have at last put up the donations. So it used to be 25 pence for every hat over years and years and years. I think about 20 years. They've now put it up to 30p a hat. And so, this is how you can use all your wool stash, all those little bits of wool. I mean, some of these look like this. There would have been a little bit of wool there. That was one little tiny ball of wool there. We're using it up to use all the oddments of wool. Some of them up here, let's have a look. Oh, that was a ball that had all those colours in it. Things like this, I would have had little bits of pink and white left over. That was a little tiny ball of wool. My daughter knitted that one, and I did the hats, the fluff on the top. So initially, when I first started, I just made the hats with the bobbles. These actually, now I'm going to say, look, this one has a very smooth sort of bobble on it. That was made on a pom-pom maker. But my pom-pom maker fell to bits, so I ordered a new one. You know, it came so loose, and it was just hard to put it together to make this. I ordered another one off Amazon, which was great the first time I used it, and then the second time it did the same thing. And I thought, you know what, I'm not faffing about like that. So what I did, because these are effective enough, and don't forget, you know, the more time you take on them, the less you can make. The more you make, the more 30p's you get. So what I did with these ones that are not quite so pom-pommy, is pom-pommy a word? I don't know. It might be. So what I did with these was, I think you can see that they are cute, aren't they? Hang on, let's just. Okay, you have a week of hospital appointments, so you better take knitting with you. The gauntlet is thrown back. Excellent, Debs. I'm glad you're on board with us. We've got till June, the end of June. So do what you can. You know, don't overstress. Oh, don't stretch it too much. Don't stress yourself out with it. That's not the idea. But it's a word now. Yes, pom-pomming is a word now. So look, so what I did, that's what I did. So let me show you. Have I got a ball of wool here? Have I got a handy ball of wool? Do you know what? I probably haven't. Oh yes. Oh no. Can you believe? Oh, can you believe I haven't got a ball of wool in my office? They're all in the other room. I have got a ball of wool. This is the one I'm doing the scrubbies on, but I can just show you. So instead of faffing about with a pom-pom maker, doing pom-pomming, pom-pom making, what I did was I got, with the two-tone ones, I got 2 strands of wool, and I just went round my fingers 20. If I'm just doing one strand, I will do around my fingers 20 times, right? And then bundle it, tie it in the middle, and then tie it really tightly, and then cut the ends and fluff it. And that is so quick. That is so quick against trying to make a proper pom-pom. Yes, I can talk you through the pattern. I certainly can. Actually, if we've got anybody who can put a link in the side, or I'll put the links on my Facebook page as well. But the easiest ones are these sort of hats. You can make anything. If you Google the big knit, and don't forget knit is KNIT, not NIT. It's not a big knit in your hair. It's a big knit. If you Google the big knit, there are patterns. Age UK have got some patterns up. They're all free patterns. There's somebody called Joe who's got loads and loads of patterns on Joe's Big Knit. But if you just Google the big knit and patterns on smoothie hats, you will find so many. But anyway, let me talk you through the basics. So a hat like this, we've got a little ridge on the end. Some of the hats, when I first started, I went with a pattern. Oh, this one. And it's got 2 rows of knit. So you cast on, if you're using number 4 needles, size 4mm needles, cast on 28 stitches. And on this one, I did rib, knit 1, purl 1, rib, right, for two rows, okay? And then I did 12 rows of stocking stitch, and then the next row I knitted 2 together all across the row to give it shaping. Then I purled coming back the other way, and then the next row I knitted 2 together again. And then when you get to that bit, you then cut the wool, thread the needle through all the stitches and pull and tighten up. But ribbing takes a bit longer, so I decided to make mine like this, so it doesn't matter, you know, you can make stripes, whatever. But this one, I cast on 28 stitches, but I did 2 rows of garter stitch, because garter stitch is quicker than ribbing, and it has the same sort of effect. Look, it's just giving it a nice edge at the bottom. It really doesn't matter. You know, you're not making wedding dresses or dresses for royalty. You're making smoothie hats to go on bottles. So that's what you remember. You don't perfect. Done is better than perfect. All right. So just that's how it goes. So those are the little smoothie hats. And Debs, I can drop that. I can send you a link to the patterns after the broadcast or sometime tomorrow probably. So you do that. You can put ribbons on them. You can put buttons on them. You can put a bit of tufty on the top or whatever. So I did a load that were like that because they are the quickest ones to knit. But of course, because I'm on social media, people love a variety. So I decided then to do some other patterns. And if you look closely up here, you will find that I started knitting little colouring pencils. So look, and I put stuffing in them for a minute so that they stand up because I didn't have enough bottles. Look, I have got a black one, but it's in my other bag, so it's not here. So look, a whole set of colouring pencils. So that was a lovely pattern. And that's dead easy. Can you send it? Yes, certainly, Susan. Are you going to knit some? That's wonderful. So these again, the pencils, that was one from Joe, I think Joe's Big Knit page. 28 stitches on size 4 needles. And on that one, I didn't even do the edging. It just made its own edging. I just knitted 12 rows of stocking stitch, and then when you get to this bit it's a bit more fiddly, so I'd have to direct you to the pattern rather than try and work it out because I need to look at the pattern when I'm doing it. But if you'd seen me doing any of these before, whoops, oh dear, I've knocked something on the floor. Let's put these all back up there. Let's do that. And I'll tell you what went on the floor. We realise that humour isn't for everyone. It's only for people who want to have fun, enjoy life and feel alive. And I thought that was such a fun thing to have up in my office. When I say my office, I think I mean my craft room. Richard's saying, late President Carter, who made 100 last year, was also a good Christian follower, especially his work with Habitat for Humanity. Excellent. That's wonderful. There's a lot of wonderful people around. Sadly, it's spoilt by some people who are not quite so nice. But you know what? We just have to work through it. And that's it. Get past it. So anyway, so the gauntlet is thrown. I would love to have, to really have as many hats as we can. So what I would ask you to do is, if you see me putting posts up about the hats, please share. If you're not a knitter, then share. If you are a knitter, please knit if you can. If you're not a knitter, please share. One of the things I'm going to be doing before I go back to my daughters is gather up all those. I've got so many tiny weeny balls of wool, and this is perfect for busting the stash. Stash busting. Yeah, absolutely perfect for stash busting. Very good advice, Lynn. I want you to share and share and share. Pre-COVID, yes, it was pre-COVID. So that's what I want you to do. I do have a page called Lins and Needles, which I've got a lot of my knitting on. But I often put them on. I often put all on Go Live Granny page, but sometimes I put it on the Lins and Needles page, which is just the knitting stuff, and then I share it to the Go Live Granny page. So you will find it. I will start putting much more into the Go Live Granny community. So some of you, I was telling you, we have a Go Live Granny community page. I haven't been very active in there for a while, but let's get that page active again, because I want to do that. So I'm going to take a lot of bits of wool. I'm going to sort out all those tiny bits of wool that you don't want to waste. This is perfect for that sort of thing. And then I'm also going to make, I'm not just going to make the pencils and these. I'm going to look at some of those other patterns. In the past, I've made leprechauns hats that are smoothie hats. I've made dinosaurs. I've made flowers. I've made post boxes. I've made sooty and sweet. There are so many different things. That's what I will be looking at some of them, but I can't devote all my time to the smoothie hats. We've got a family wedding coming up very soon. You might see me going off to find not a big bow to go on my head, but probably a very fancy fascinator that's a little bit more. I like to have fun, but I know when to behave. Well, I think I know when to behave. And it is a family wedding. I will be going out looking for an outfit. I have a backup plan. The backup plan is that wonderful dress I bought when I'd lost 2 stone last year. And at this point, I just lost 2 stone. Of course, I've lost another 1.5 stone since then, so it might need taking in. But that's my backup plan. That is not really the first choice for the wedding, but it did look nice, and I could dress it up with accessories. But at the moment, I think Facebook knows I'm going to a family wedding and knows that I might be one of the mothers of the bride or groom. As it happens, I'm the mother of the groom. You put in your request for your community page. Oh, sorry, Heather. Do you know what? I haven't been to the page to look. Naughty me. I'll look when I've finished. I will go, Heather. I'm sorry about that. That's, you see, I said I hadn't been very active on there. I need to go and look, and I will accept you. So yes, so I think that, you know, all these things are listening to everything you do, aren't they? And Facebook keeps sending me pictures of outfits for mother of the bride and brother of the groom. I've been having a lot of dreams about my outfit, what I'm going to have. I don't even know what colour I'm going for yet, but it's all getting very real because it's not that far away now. And my future daughter-in-law was messaging me while I was on the train about things to do with the wedding. I've also got an assignment to do, something, you know, to make in the paper craft line for the wedding. I'm not telling you about it. You will see afterwards. I am not spoiling anything by putting anything I do for the wedding out there in advance. You'll have to wait, but it's not a very long wait. And also, I've got a cardigan. You will have seen that I made a white cardigan for one of my little grandchildren. Well, they are going to be, you know, little attendants. Those cardigans are not for the wedding itself, but they are going to wear them in the evening. And so I've done the first one. I better get on and make the second one, hadn't I? So, but that's the deadline for the smoothie hats is not till June. The deadline for those things is much nearer. So I got to do that. My daughter and her friend are very keen to take me to a shopping outlet near where my daughter lives and help me with the my outfit, which I'm looking forward to. You're the standing mother of the groom for your brother in April. Excellent, Heather. That's nice. Debs is going to write a poster for the Hunts Neurotherapy Centre tomorrow. Not nitty knack. Not nitty knack pack. Oh my goodness, that was a bit of a tongue twister, Debs. So wait a minute, I missed something Heather said there. She said, no worries, not like you haven't been busy or anything. No, I better get into the Go Live Granny community. There's over 400 members in there. A lot of them joined during COVID, so a lot of them might not be interested anymore. But it's nice that we need to activate that a bit more, get a bit more going. And I'm having a website done, so but more, that's not priority at the minute. Obviously, wedding stuff is priority and family stuff is priority. So those things all have to be done. And so it's very exciting times. And one of the reasons I came home, another reason why I came home is I have so much of my craft stuff here, and I got the request to do something paper crafty for the wedding, and I think I might have suitable stuff here rather than start and buy again. That's all I'm telling, because, you know, we've got to keep some secrets, haven't we? And you'll see it all, but after the event. Okay, because I don't want to spoil any surprises there. So it's very exciting stuff going on. I'm really, you know, keen. So anyway, I will be out and about looking for my outfit. And it's so nice that my daughter wants to go with me. When my daughter got married, I'd been doing Slimming World, and I had lost 3 stone from, I think I've told this before, from September to January. Her wedding anniversary is this coming week, Tuesday. It's her wedding anniversary. And between September right through Christmas and into January, I was losing weight. I was doing very well. I lost 3 stone, so I didn't actually buy the outfit to her wedding until the week of her wedding because I was still losing weight. And then on the island, we didn't have many fancy shops or anything. I thought, oh, do you know what? I'm going to have to go to the mainland, and I'm going to have to go in this shop for a dress, and this shop for a hat, and this shop for shoes, and this shop for that. And at that time, we had rather an old-fashioned department store, but I went in there, and do you know what? I went in there and I saw something, but I rejected it. My daughter was with me. No, she'd gone to have her hair done because she got married on the island, and she was practicing having her hair done because she'd had her hair being done by a member of her groom's family for months, for weeks and weeks and weeks, practicing for the wedding, and then suddenly the hairdresser couldn't make the wedding for some reason. So she had to find a hairdresser on the island. So she was having her hair done as a practice, and I went in the store just along, and I looked at this outfit. No, I'm going to reject that. I think, yes, I rejected that. Anyway, I went back in that store again later, and they did that sort of service where they put you into the changing room, and they go away, and they come back with all the things that might work for you. And you know what? I ended up buying something I had rejected when I was just looking at it myself. I thought, no, that's not any good. And I ended up with the outfit. So thinking I've got to go to the mainland, I didn't have to. I got my dress. I got a lovely, I had sparkle. I had sequined jacket on that. I had the sparkle. I bought a necklace in there. It was a department store. I bought a necklace in there. I got gloves in there, which I dyed to match the outfit. And then I dyed some shoes. Did I dye the shoes or did they dye? No, I dyed the shoes. I dyed my own shoes. What they didn't have was a hat to match. But actually what we did, what they could do for me, the outfit had shoulder pads in it, and the shoulder pads were covered in the fabric of the dress. And so what they did, and it was a nice sheer fabric, a floaty sort of dress. And they took the so what they did, they took the fabric that was covering the shoulder pads, because of course you don't see the shoulder pads when they're inside the dress. So they took the fabric off the shoulder pad, and they made a fascinator using that fabric, and it was like a swirly thing, and then they put some feathers, something feathery to match it at the side, and it was wonderful, and nobody would ever have known it was once a shoulder pad piece of fabric. Wait a minute, hang on, what we got? I missed some comments here. Hang on. Oh yeah, so Heather's saying she's got her tonic bandstand kit, so she's excited to get started on that. So Heather and I were discussing that the other day. I have got the same, a lovely kit that came out from Tonic Studios, and it's a bride and groom in a bandstand, and it's a gift box, so the gift box go at the bottom, and then this what. So I'm going to make that. Heather's making it as well, because that's how we met through the craft world, and I'm going to put a gift in the bottom, their wedding gift in the bottom of that, and it's going to be pretty special. But again, I might not let you see it until afterwards, because I don't know whether they'll be peeping. They're a bit busy with wedding stuff, but you never know what they see on social media. Debs has put paper and card. Anyone want old Christmas cards for gift tags? Any charity, ideally. I don't use those, Debs, but lots of charities probably do. Richard is saying he loves the typo earlier on Facebook with snow conditions. Texas road signs saying, be aware of wintry. And then it says, look, let me show you, because I can't spell that out. It should say conditions, but obviously it doesn't say conditions. It says CKNDITIONS. And then it says, be aware of wintry condition. Well, I don't know whether that's a mistake you'd made or whether you just made but it says drive with cake. That's right. So that's the bit that Richard's referring to. It says drive, should say drive with care. Sorry, so the I don't think the conditions was a mistake. I think that might have been a slip up with Richard there. Never mind. So typo for drive with care. And I thought that was very funny. The Big Knit, not to be confused with Owl Statue Art Trail, the Big Hoot. No, we don't want the Big Hoot. We can have a big hoot at some other time, but not then. So yes, lots of exciting times coming, lots of shenanigans, I'm sure, between now and then. But as I say, the excitement is getting very real. My accommodation has been booked for me. There was talk of, getting me a hairdresser because it's not in my local area. So, hair's been thought about, possibly makeup been thought about. I don't know. I don't wear much makeup, but when my daughter got married, I did have makeup done. It depends what's available. Probably my grandchildren could do my makeup. I once let them loose on me and they did makeup, but that was when they were 2 and 3, and I ended up looking like a clown. It was fine because I didn't mind. I wasn't going anywhere. My 3 of my granddaughters are now into the makeup scene, and they do their eyeliner and all this. So you never know. When I go back to my daughters this week, I'm going to ask to see whether they want to have a go and see what we can come up with, because it might be nice to have a little bit. I don't do much makeup anyway. I only ever have it done for special occasions. I was one of those. I did it once. I used to have that big black eyeliner at the stage. I used to do it for a while, but then I got so fed up with it. I'd rather be doing other things than makeup, and so I'd rather be knitting or doing crafting. So that I don't actually bother with all the makeup now. But it is nice to have a touch of it for a special occasion. So a special occasion we have. So we've got a special occasion, and then we've got I've got a family holiday. I'm going with 2 of my children and all the grandchildren, and the other one we're doing something separate because we couldn't match the dates for the other member of my family. So I will do something separately with them another time. So that's got to be sorted. Debs is saying she loves driving with cake, but less likely to drop some if you stop first. Absolutely, Debs. Otherwise, you might. Oh, crumbs! Yes. Now, talking of cake, which we were, and talking of Slimming World, which we weren't, but I was. Oh, yes, I was before. I was hoping I would have hit my 3.5 stone award this week. I have been like this. I got to almost 3.5 stone in October. And since October, it's been yo-yoing. And last week, I was 0.5 pound away from 3.5 stone. And I thought I would get it this week. And then I put on 1 pound. And I don't know how. I thought I've been sticking to plan. I'm still sometimes get myself a bit muddled about how much speed food or what I have to do. My daughter's trying to keep me on track. So I don't know. The thing is, I've lost almost 3.5 stone. I'm not beating myself up over it. I'm very proud of my daughter because she's just been Slimmer of the Week 3 weeks in a row. So that's pretty good. I said I was going to try and be Slimmer of the Week this week. I don't mind not being the Slimmer of the Week. I love the fact that she was Slimmer of the Week for the 3rd time in a row. Hello, Yvonne. Woo, there's Yvonne. Nice to see you. Yvonne, we are doing smoothie hats. Just a quick aside, because Yvonne is the one who got so many knitters involved in the Go Live Granny community. Yvonne, I don't know if you've seen, we have got up until June to get the smoothie hats in. Hello, Tracy. Tracy's back again. She's had her shower and she's back, and we're still here. So Yvonne's just come into the broadcast as well. And Yvonne did loads of smoothie hats last time round. So Yvonne, I don't know whether you've seen that the campaign's on again, and we have till June to make the smoothie hats. And Tracy, I don't know if anybody's donating them to the shop, but I don't know whether you can do what you did before and give them to us. So we have 3 stone is fantastic though, Lynn. You should be very proud. Yes, but it's almost 3.5. I'm only a pound off 3.5, so it's beyond 3 stone. I haven't gone back under the 3 stone. It was only wavering. I mean, I am very proud of myself. It just seems so funny that it's sort of stuck at this point, and I feel really, so much better for that. If I just caused a knickers reference from Lynn this time, did I? Oh. Did I say? What did I say? Oh, the big knit. No, the big knit, not knickers. Oh, that's right. That's what Debs was referring to before. When she said that about going on the naughty step, I totally forgot the reference. Back in the day, in COVID time, if anybody said the word knickers, they got put on the naughty step. And there was too much knicker talk. Right, Yvonne's just started knitting them. Tracy said she will give them to us, but nobody's donated any yet. But Yvonne has started knitting them this week. So I was showing, I've got a pile up there. I'll just go over what I said earlier in the broadcast. Helen at Isle of Wool has thrown the gauntlet down to the Go Live Granny community, because we had a bit of banter, and she said that she was going to make one smoothie hat a day, because she's got all the other things to do. And then she threw down the gauntlet and said that she and Anne in the shop challenged the Go Live Granny community to make more hats. Can we make more hats than them? There's only 2 of them. They're quite quick at it, but there's only 2 of them. There's a lot more of those. Yvonne says she doesn't even have to be here to cause trouble. No, you don't, Yvonne. It's true. What's Heather put? Heather's put, I guess, Richard, if you drove with cake, you would drive carefully as to not dump it. Absolutely. Yeah, so Yvonne, Tracy was saying, 3 stone is very fantastic. It is, and it's good. I still feel like I want to take more off, but I'm not beating myself up. I'm following as much as I can and doing what I can. Got a free book this week because I booked 12 more sessions. And anybody who says, oh, it's expensive to Slimming World, it's not. It costs me, I'm a senior, so it's a bit less. It's £5 something, about £5.60, and I think if you're not a senior, it costs under £6. I was spending more on naughty food than that, right? And putting on weight and not being healthy. So I think, and then if I do a countdown, so if I book 12 next sessions, I get 1 or 2 free sessions. I think I get 2 free sessions for that, or 1 free. I can't remember. So you get that free, and then they often have a special offer like they had this week. So if you booked a countdown session of 12 sessions, you got a free Slimming World book, and it's another new one. So that what was not to love, So it's really good. It's really good, and I find it quite easy to follow. It's just this sticky bit to get over this next bit. But in the past, sometimes I've suddenly had a £6 weight loss, and again, I don't know why that would happen all in one go. Your body is very different, and our bodies are different, and they do different things at different times. So I'm not worrying about it. Yeah, so anyway, let's have a look. She's saying she doesn't even have to be here to cause trouble. Richard thought it was very funny about the post van. He's coming back to the reference where I told you that he'd sent me this post about the Royal Mail people delivering a Royal Mail van to Newport on the Isle of Wight instead of Newport in Wales, when it got Welsh on the writing on the side. So there we go. Anyway, folks, it's been quite a tiring day for me, as you know, with all the shenanigans that have gone on today. I am quite tired. I do think it might be a good idea if I start winding down and getting ready for bed. Tracy's saying, mind you, she's saying, mind you, do you need Slimming World with all your running along train platforms? I mean, I couldn't believe it. If I hadn't been running to catch the train, I would have tried. I wanted so desperately to get my video camera running on the guy who was doing the travel assist, who was running. He was behind me putting the ramp back, and then he said, "You start going towards the lift." And then he came past me like, a sprinter came past me and ran ahead to get the lift and hold the lift open for me. And I so would have loved to have videoed it, but if I'd have videoed it, oh look, who's sending me fireworks? How does all that happen? Somebody told me before, but I've forgotten how that happens. Somebody tell me. So anyway, yeah. So I would have loved to have done that, but he might have told me off because you can't. It's a bit naughty to try get them to hold the train and then stop and take photos and videos. I do the photos because I can do those quickly, but video, trying to run along with holding my phone and not dropping my phone and pushing my trolley with an extra bag on the top that didn't have a bungee on it because I forgot the bungee strap. It is what it is. But yes, I think that all that running about, I think they're in league, all these people, the travel assist people, and they're trying to get me to get my steps in and do my body magic. So all the exercise is called body magic, and I haven't actually done any official body magic. You get certificates for that as well. I haven't actually done any of that, so I think I should put today's stuff. I've probably done 15 minutes of running up and down platforms today, so I can count that as my first 15 minutes. Richard is saying that it only got worse with Royal Mail, which is now owned by a Czech millionaire. Reminds me the role of Czech supermarket owner that Peter Baux played in the something born, in the manner born. Do you know what? I can't quite. I did watch the manner born. I can't quite remember the reference, but I'm sure it was very funny because the manner born was always very funny. So that's it, folks. I have been running up and down platforms. I've been getting on different trains. I've now got another refund. I've got 3 refunds to do, but the first refund I need to do before. Well, I need to do it by this weekend because you get 28 days. No, I need to do it by partway through this week. You get 28 days, but I am a bit flummoxed about it. I think I started saying this before because normally I will buy a single ticket one way and then I'll buy a single ticket back the other way, because often it's easier for me to book like that than it is to book a return, and sometimes it's cheaper to buy 2 singles than it is to buy a return. On that occasion when I was going north for Christmas, I went to book it as 2 singles, and the first one was very expensive, a lot more than I normally would pay. So I then put in a return, and it gave me an open return for no more money than the single. So I booked an open return, and now I'm trying to remember what happened, because when I came to return, I didn't have a ticket with any times on it. So I think what I did, I rang the passenger assist people and said, look, I've got a return, an open return, which I don't know what I do. So I think they booked me into trains. And then, of course, that was the day that I went to the station, and the ticket office, when I asked for where passenger assist was, they said, go home and come back tomorrow. Because that was the day so many of the trains were cancelled by cross-country trains. And that was the day they sent me via Euston, into Euston and out of Euston. And unfortunately, I wasn't an hour late. I was only 50 minutes late, even though it seemed like major shenanigans because all the trains were cancelled. But, I ended up actually getting there only 50 minutes late. But I think I haven't done that because I couldn't find a ticket. Well, of course, I didn't have a ticket. I only had an open return. And I wasn't then doing the journey that I'd booked with passenger assist. I think I've got to ring up the passenger assist people and say, how do I claim this? Because although I wasn't an hour late, I was more than half an hour late. So I will get half the money. And that would be about... I don't know how they calculate it, because actually, that's right, because that part of the journey they didn't charge me any more for. So they might say, oh no, you can't have any return on that because you paid all the money on the first part of the journey and the return was free. So I don't know. It might be more bother than it's worth, that one. So I'm going to I'll ring them up and see. But I definitely had the one the other day, the one when I was going back to the island last time. I was an hour late on that one. Going back the other way, perfectly on time. No late. And I was quite happy with that because my daughter was picking me up between school runs, and it would have meant I'd have to sit waiting, for a lift and whatever. Not that I mind, but I didn't mind not having a refund for that day. But I'm quite happy to have a refund for today's journeys and all the shenanigans. So there we go. It was 2019. I forgot what I was asking. Tracy's putting all the little athletes. I don't know. I would love to have had somebody videoing me trying to run up the platform, trying to hold the things on the top, And it was a long, I mean, I was up and down. I think, was it? Yes, Reading. I went up in a lift, along a long corridor, down in a lift. That was the lift I shared with a bear, because somebody got in with a great big bear, like they do. I just could see the comical side of today, up and down and all about, shake it all about and running along. And oh, my goodness. But I did enjoy myself. And I got a free coffee in the first class carriage on the Great Western Railway. And that's always a bonus. So anyway, I'm gonna carry on doing the slimming if I can. I'm going to carry on being the mad go live granny, and I'm sure there will be lots of shenanigans to talk about. So yeah, and next week I won't be here. And I won't be at my daughter's. I will be somewhere else, and that is providing that I got to where I was going on Friday. So I'm going to be somewhere else from Friday through to Tuesday. And then on Tuesday, Richard, let's get that something booked in to see if we can meet up for coffee, because I've got like a 2 to 3 hour gap at Birmingham New Street. That is providing the first train gets me to New Street. And nothing else happens. It doesn't take me to London or something. You never know. You never know. Stranger things have happened. Anyway, I'm getting tired. I also need to put some cream on my hands because they're feeling a bit dry again at the moment. But as I said, I did tell you, I think the other day, I've realised I'd been eating something with wheat in, and that's probably what had made them bad. So I don't. Today I think it's just the cold because it's been very cold. But the other day it was because I had wheat. So no wheat for me. And they'll get better. Anyway, I am tired. I am going to go, folks. I think I've done you proud. You've had 2 hours and 17 minutes and 4 seconds. I hope that was a good entertainment for you. Probably find Shell have a 4 or 5 hour time slot, Richard, if her train's delayed. Probably find she'll have a 4 or 5 hour time slot, Richard, if her train's delayed. Yes, I am sure. We will have time to do live streams from Birmingham New Street. I wonder what we can find to be amusing at Birmingham New Street. I'm sure we can find something to have fun with. Anyway, until next Sunday. That's before I meet Richard, because I will be meeting Richard on the Tuesday. If anybody else is, anywhere. Oh, so if any of you are ever on any of my journey trips, I know that often I go through Basingstoke, and I know Jackie Hennessy's in Basingstoke. But if I want to meet, normally my changeover at Basingstoke is very short. It didn't let me do Basingstoke today, but it's very short. But maybe one day I will actually make do a bigger split there, and see if I can meet up with Jackie one day. I've never met her, but she's been a great member of this community, so that would be nice. Anyway, my voice is starting to wear out. I think really. Yvonne, don't worry about it. Yvonne said she's sorry she missed me. Don't forget, I'm there for the replay. If you want the replay, if you can be bothered, you'll hear about all the shenanigans. But don't worry if not. We need to do one of our FaceTime calls, Yvonne. Maybe we could fit that in soon. We'll see what we can manage. The trouble is, we know we need a big slot. When Yvonne and I get on the phone, it's like one of these broadcasts. It's like a 2 to 3 hour jobby. So we need a big chunk of time. Anyway, folks, don't forget, spread the word about the knitting, the big knit. Not the big knickers, as Deb seems to think I said, but the big knit. And spread the word. We want to raise loads and loads and loads of money for Age UK, Isle of Wight. The target is 12,500. My daughter and I started the other day. I think between us we've done about 50, which was not bad in a few days. And my daughter's really, really enjoying that. I think she'll even do some while I'm away. The thing is, she sometimes goes wrong and then she panics. And I said, don't worry. But actually, one of her daughters sorts it out now if I'm not around. So that's good. Oh, and I just forgot to tell everybody, yesterday I binge watched. So Kath is not in here. Are the sweet tubs behind? No, they are not. They are not full of sweets. None of these are full of sweets. They make very good containers for craft bits and pieces, all the cutout bits. So no, I have not been cheating and eating all these sweets. In fact, I think Jan Brooks gave me some of the empty ones, so she could confirm that I didn't eat the things out of these. No, they're brilliant. I've got some more up there. I've got Heroes one and a Celebrations and a Quality Street, but they've also been collected over years. So some of them I may have eaten the sweets out of them some years ago, but most of them I've had in since then. Your beady eye. Tracy's got beady eyes. Look. So I'm not owning up to eating lots of sweets because I actually haven't been. I did have some. I haven't had crisps for a long time because I used to have a lot of crisps. I said I was going, didn't I? And then I forgot I was going, so I'm still here. I used to eat a lot of crisps and a lot of chocolate. Haven't eaten crisps for a long time, but actually my daughter said it's sometimes good to change up what you eat. Sometimes if you eat the same things, that's why the weight doesn't change. So she had some crisps the other day, and of course I have to be careful and not eat the wheat ones. I did go and have something. I looked at it and it didn't have very many sins, and I ate it, and of course it got wheat in it, so that wasn't great. Hang on. Tracy's saying she's got a couple here when she's finished, if I want them. Okay, but she's eating the sweets first. That's fine, because I don't want you to give me the sweets, Tracy. Anyway, I want to be good. I like the fact that I've taken the weight off. Susan says she's got some dog whisked plastic boxes. They're square if they are any use to you. I also have an empty tray. Yeah, any of those are great because, they're good for storing bits. Sometimes I sit and cut a lot of bits out in one go, but actually don't make the craft things at that time. Sometimes I do that for preparing if I'm teaching, if I'm helping somebody with craft, get a lot of bits ready in advance. Those boxes are great for putting all that stuff in. Why pay for storage boxes when there's all those lovely tins and things around? And in fact, I've got one. You're balanced on my little. I've got a little. Let me show you what it is. A little stand to put my phone on. Right. Okay. So you're standing on the phone, and then there's two boxes which are Tonics craft kits, which look like. They look like this. So you're balancing on the stand on two of these, and then underneath that there's a Heroes container, but it doesn't contain Heroes. It contains craft bits. So that's that is my setup here. Next week I'm going to be asking. I'm going to see Tristan next week, and I'm going to be asking him to help me so that I can do the crafting. Now I've got pretty nails again. I'm going to try and do some crafting on live. for you to see. I don't know what I'm letting myself in for. You'll probably see me get glue all over my fingers and everything else, but who knows? So whimsy boxes is what that should have said. That's dog treat boxes. Okay, it didn't mean anything to me because I don't know about these things. I see what my daughter does for her cats, you know, and I've been living with lots of cats. I don't do animals. How I can now cope with cats and more cats and more cats. And then I even, you know, open the front door and then one cat will come in and two cats will go out and all this stuff. But anyway, that's it. So, right, yes. So, yes, I will have all those sweetie boxes. Thank you. And now I'm going to go. I'm going to go and have another nice hot drink. I've been having, where I sometimes don't use all my milk allocation in a day. Sometimes you're supposed to use it all. If you know, you can either sin it or use it as an A choice. And I found that sometimes I haven't drunk it all. There's still some left. So now I'm using the last bit of milk to make maybe a hot chocolate or something. So options is 2 sins for 11 grams. So I can make myself an options now because I've got 2 sins left out of my allocation today. And that will be nice. Right. Finally the picture. Just another happy birthday. Oh, I didn't sing to my daddy. Look, there he is. Let's sing to him. 104 today. We'll sing before we go. And actually, can you all put some happy birthday things in for my daddy? He would have been 104. He got to 89, a grand old age, but he would have been 104 today, and we would have had a massively big party. But I expect he's doing that up there. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Daddy. Happy birthday to you. And I'm not going to do one birthday candle when you're 1 year old because that would prolong the broadcast for probably another hour. So happy birthday, Daddy. This is the happy birthday bow. Let's just do a final fez. There we are. That's for my daddy because he wore fezzes just like that. And look, Tracy's putting in. Look, she's putting in streamers and things. And Susan's putting in birthday cakes and parcels. And Yvonne's putting something in, but I can't see what it is. Look. Yvonne, I don't know what you put in it. It doesn't show me. It's just come up as a little white, but or under your name in the comments, it's just got your name and nothing. And when I put it over there, it's just got a white box. So I don't know what you're trying to show me. I'm sure that's something party-ish, but I don't know what. And Tracy's come with the balloons, but I didn't bring it. I didn't come with any party poppers today, did I? But you know, not going to do that because I don't know where they are. There we are. Balloons times 104. Heather's so that's Tracy's coming in with that. Heather's coming in with lots of birthday cakes with lots of candles. When he was about 50 or 60, we did put that many candles on, but it was a chocolate cake and it melted. If the candles melted the icing, not a good idea. So for me this year, it will be 75 candles. But I don't think I'll let them put the candles on in case we have only if they do a risk assessment first and have a fire extinguisher standing by. So, right, I really am going to go now. My throat is getting very dry. I've had lots of fun with you all. Thank you so much for joining me here for these last 2.5 hours. Stay safe. Have a good week. By the time I speak to you again next weekend, I will have had umpteen shenanigans, I'm quite sure. And Yvonne's saying it's my meme popping a bottle of champagne. There you are. She's put a bottle of champagne in because we couldn't see what it was, but she's put that there now. And so that's nice. Heather saying sweet sleep and dreams, Lynn. Thank you for sharing your life with us. That's fine. And it's just so lovely to have some of you into my life. Oh, my goodness me. Oh, my goodness me. Look, Tracy, I'm not going to count them, but are there 104 there? I bet there are. I bet she's put 104. About that many balloons. Look what she's put. Well done, Tracy. Well done. Thank you so much. About that many balloons. That's how many balloons 104 is. So there we go. Right. Oh, and you know what? There were a couple of, I don't know. I don't know if you saw my post earlier in the week, but there were some national days today that amused me. So I get all these national days coming into my inbox, and it was National Do Nothing Day. And I forgot, what did I do? I did do things on National Do Nothing Day. Yesterday I binge watched 8 hours of Virgin River on Netflix, which Kath Cooper got me into, and I binge watched all the way through. Yes, another gold. Look, Tracy says about that many balloons. Heather says wow, and Tracy says another gold star. So Tracy, tell me, how many gold stars do I owe you now? 104? Is it 104 gold stars? You have to show me what that looks like. Before I go, you have to put the gold stars up that I owe you. I don't know how many I owe you. I know I'm indebted to you for all the wonderful things you do for me. But yes, definitely another gold star. So I'm going to watch and see if you put the gold stars in before I go. So yes, so today, one of the days was, I think it might have been today, one of the days was National Imagination Day. Imagination Day. So I think it was something like that. And I thought, well, just imagine life without shenanigans, or just imagine that, I don't know, all sorts of things. They just amuse me. Some days they have all sorts of national days on them, and they're all very boring. So I think I put something up about imagine. Oh, I think I put something up like imagine what it would be like if I didn't have any shenanigans. And I was expecting, I don't know if anybody's done it yet, but I was expecting somebody to put underneath very boring. That's what it would be. Right, so is that any good? What's Virgin River about, and what did you watch it on? It's on Netflix, Susan, and yes, it's very good. I got into the first series because of Kath, and it was at a time when Kath was able to share her you used to be able to share subscriptions on Netflix, or somebody would pay and you could let somebody else use it, but they stopped doing that, so I stopped watching Virgin River. But of course my family have Netflix, so that's why I had to binge watch it, so that I could watch it all before I came back. Then I'll watch something else when I go back. And Heather's imagining that if I didn't have any shenanigans, I wouldn't have as much to talk about. and Tracy, that's only 4 gold stars. I'm sure that I owe you more than 4 gold stars. Oh, so what's it about? Oh my goodness. It follows the people. Virgin River is an area. It's a community. And it's all about the things on the community, but it's been very exciting, and it was particularly exciting yesterday. And I messaged Kath partway through, and she thought I'd watched it all, so she mentioned something in the bit that I hadn't yet got to, but it wasn't really a spoiler alert. It didn't spoil it for me. And I told her it didn't spoil it for me. I said, oh, I'm not up to that bit yet, but anyway, I actually got almost to the end last night, so I was watching till just about somewhere near midnight, and then I fell asleep before the end of the last episode, and I fell asleep for about another hour. I woke up and I had to rewind to watch the last 20 minutes. I think it was about 20 minutes still left. I had to watch it because I didn't want to, go to bed without knowing how it ended. And it says that there is another series planned, so I don't know when that's due. But it is where I enjoyed it very much, Susan. Have a watch. If you can access it, have a watch. Read the synopsis and then see, what you think of the first bit. Sometimes the first part of things isn't always the best. Sometimes you have to watch a bit more. But I really did enjoy it, and I enjoyed the second series better than I enjoyed the first. Of course, I got to the start of this series, and then I totally forgotten what had gone on through. I had to go back and watch some of the old episodes, and then of course my daughter and I, we've been watching Traitors. something else I didn't watch until I was at my daughter's, and now I want to go back and watch the previous series because I got so gripped into this one, and so I want to watch the previous series. I don't know how many. Has it just been one series before? I think. Anyway, I keep saying I'm going, and then I keep not going. But I think, Tracy, I'm sure I owe you more stars than. Try Googling it, Susan. It might explain it to you. Yes, absolutely. Google Virgin, or yeah, look it up. It will give you a better explanation than I did. Tracy loves the traitors. Excellent. Yes, it was so exciting. But you know what? I didn't realise it was on several nights in a row. And on Wednesday, we watched Wednesdays, and then I watched Morning Live, and the One Show on Thursday, and they both said it was on that night, and I looked and I didn't see it. I must have been looking with my eyes closed because I looked at BBC. Oh, maybe I looked. Do you know what I did? I looked at iPlayer. Oh no, it would tell you if it was coming up, wouldn't it, on iPlayer? I don't know. I got myself totally confused, and so we didn't watch Thursdays. And then on Friday, my daughter was talking to her daughter, who was had gone to a friend's, and they were watching the Traitors. So they were watching Thursday's Traitors. And so we said, don't tell us. So we've then found out it was on Thursday and Friday as well. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Thank you, Tracy. That's right. Oh, there's 2 series. Oh, my goodness. Well, you know what I should be hooked on then, don't you? Susan's just going to go into Netflix, and Tracy saying Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Right, okay. So before it gets to Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I need to go and get some sleep. It is now nearly 11 o'clock. Oh, at this rate, I might get to bed before midnight. Going to go and make myself a hot drink and just have a few minutes downtime before I go to bed. Night, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me again to hear about all those shenanigans. And, you make it so much more, my shenanigans, so much more fun, because if I didn't have you to report to, I wonder how I would feel about all those delayed trains and things. I don't know. Would I still find them as fun? Maybe not. Night, everybody. Tracy's off to bed and get a drink in bed. Night, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. See you all again soon. Bye.